money, power, and sex. That's what this case is about. It didn't matter what obstacles she had to remove to get what she wanted. And if it was a person, it didn't matter who. All I want is money, power, and I think I'm money, power. All I want is money, power, and I think I'm
Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Answer, guilty. Is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty. Dated this 12th day of May, 2023, signed by the presiding officer.
They got the bitch.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? I need to just put my audio thing up because I'm not liking the way, you know how you get old? I just want to know. I'm sure. You try to do your eyeliner and you got to do like this and then it ends up like all jagged and shit. And you're like, what the hell? Well, yeah, it's been like that for about 4 years. Holy hell. And then, I mean, you know, we got to start out with my problems, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to move this around. And I did, kind of. I didn't finish. So then now at the end, I've been like scooting everything back. Just trying to, you know, I don't know. If you go that way, there's a drill. I mean, there's all kinds of things. If you go that way, I'm just embarrassed. So whatever, right? My favorite saying, or one of my favorite sayings was, I said, whatever, bitches, and the bitches, whatever. So All right. It's good to see you guys. I have not, I think I have heard of it. This face tape. I need some. Not duct tape. Calm down, Mormons. I'm just picking. Too soon. Oh, yeah, black screen. Well, that's probably good for you. I'm just kidding. Shouldn't. I don't know why you have a black screen. I ain't been in the sun in 4 years. Except that one time in Salt Lake City, right? When it snowed the next day in Boise. I was like, whatever. What up with the weather? So everything's all, discombobulated, difficult. Everything's freaking difficult. Right? Always difficult. It's a perfect damn channel name. It's my motto. Difficult. All right. Hey, Cherry Pie. Hey, Beach Bum. A Aguilar. Donna's backstage. Hey, girl. SLC or SL Connolly. I always want to say SLC. Trace. Hey, girl. Bewitched. Reminds me of Bippity Boppity Boo. I saw you today at Mormon Discussions is doing like this 36-hour Gen Con because it's General Conference weekend, and we'll take a peek. Actually, I'm you know how I am. I'm better. Show you. I can show you better than I can tell you. Look at me typing all fast. Not really, but okay. It's super quiet in here. That's one thing. Okay, come on, YouTube. But I like what they're doing, and I donated today.
12. The victim who's
okay. Trigger warning. Okay, it's going to talk about actual. We don't talk about anything good here. So just prepare. We're not going to stay long. We're just going to take a look, and I really like what they're doing. I really think it's more in your face. It's more. It's not all extravagant like these elaborate, bigger than movie rescue missions, allegedly. So it just. Oh, I always forget to do this first. Okay, let me shush so I can do stuff. Okay, so now let me push play.
mother married and had a child with Morius, reported the assaults in 2010 to her religious education instructor at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The instructor notified officials at the church's headquarters in Salt Lake City, Utah, who then contacted Pawtucket police.
36 hours, the whole time of General Conference, they're doing this.
Krisha?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? When you speak, let's see, when you turn it on, it is like your microphone is picking it up. So what you're going to need to do is,
Okay.
Right, you
already
know.
You
already know.
Allegedly. Shouldn't have moved stuff around. Let's try this. Let me know.
Mormon sex abuse case number 245. Marcelo Moreno Perez. Marcelo Moreno
All
Perez.
right. Okay, good. I know how to troubleshoot one thing. It's a good day.
Was an LDS.
So what they're doing is 36 hours of this website, Floodlit, is, I don't really have the rundown or anything, but it's basically, what they're doing is taking turns reading. They have volunteers that are reading on Mormon Discussions right here. Maven is running it. And it's Gen Con Marathon, ANPAC region. Real cases highlight child protection issues in Mormonism. I guess I could do this, huh? And so this is the second, 36 hours straight, right? And they're just steady reading these things. And I mean, I've gone on the website before all this, but and read them, some of them myself. It's way too much. It's overwhelming, and they're not even. These aren't even all. the thing, all of the cases of abuse that take place, and every one of them is a bishop, somebody with a calling that the church knew about. I'm gonna read the thing. It says the following case studies being read are provided by floodlit.org, a database that provides a comprehensive examination of various abuse issues within the context of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Although these specific case studies aim to offer an impartial and factual exploration of various concerns, challenges, and experiences in relation to the LDS Church, our goal is to bring awareness of abuse occurring both inside and out of the LDS community. Drink. We encourage viewers from all perspectives with an outside the quote Mormon unquote spectrum to acknowledge and take seriously the issues and questions raised by these case studies. We believe fostering open and constructive dialogue is essential for understanding the complexities within a community or belief system. While there is no specific call to action associated with these case studies, we invite you to support Floodlit by contributing submissions, volunteering to help vet sources for future studies, monetary donations, and or providing assistance in other ways that align with the mission. Please note that Floodlit is not a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Yeah, I'm sure yet, but then, okay, anyways. And any donation should be made with this understanding. In addition to supporting Floodlit, we encourage you to explore other reputable sources and organizations on both a local and national level that can provide a starting point for further engagement with the topics discussed in the case studies. It is through informed and respectful conversations and actions that we can work together to better understand and address the important issues facing the LDS Church and its community. So I just high five.
As church member and ward young men's leader in Argentina, arrested in 2021 for alleged sexual assault of a 14-year-old girl in 2017, sentenced in 2022 to 13.5 years in prison, worked in the LDS Church as a youth leader. This case involves alleged or confirmed failure to report abuse by a Mormon Church leader.
Bam. Over and over and over again. It sounds like a damn broken record, you know? And that's pathetic. That's pathetic. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. Come on, girl. Okay. I'm pushing the buttons, but they are not working. But I just, while you're trying to, change your whole YouTube area, whatever, just listen. If you can stomach it, that's what I kind of do. It's not easy to hear, but it is, I think it's necessary. I really do, in my opinion, from my perspective. And, I've been abused, that way before when I was young. So I'm going to quit. Shit's hanging. But I just think we have to get comfortable talking about uncomfortable things if we want change. It's not to the day that we become desensitized, which a lot of us already are, to a lot of degree. Some not by choice, some, it just is the way of life. Some, have, I would say, not the luxury, but kind of, the luxury of having, a life without abuse. That's very unheard of these days, and I just think that it's the least we can do for victims is at least listen to their stories. That's it. And, just help be their voice. That's all we have to do. Just blame Laura whore. Right? I like that. Tupac was affected by the Jehovah's Witness cult. Oh, Lord. Jason told me that yesterday. I was like, Okay. I was always Biggie Smalls fan myself. Anyways, no, I'm just saying. Not trying to start a culture war or anything. But I don't know. I haven't even read it yet, Trace. Haven't had a chance. I've been Tim Ballard it up, man. There's just stuff about him I just don't even want to know anymore. I've been digging into this dude since 2020, and I don't like him. I didn't like him to begin with, and it just is not getting better. So just know that I'm not going to go in with an unbiased opinion here, okay? Well, hello from Colombia. How you doing? Or Venezuela. Yeah. Hi. Hola. I'm sorry. So, yeah. Let me go and dig this up. So what I did. Oh, yeah. Real quick. Nothing's ever real quick. But it's fun to say it is, huh? I thought I'd made a presentation. I did. Kind of. What I did, I mean, I have these like over and over and over again because this is all I do, right? So if you want it, it's in my Canva app. It's in my apps for sure. And again, this is, I'm saying from my opinion, from my view, no, I do not condone, agree with, I do not agree with human trafficking of any kind or exploitation. So don't come here with that shit, okay? There is in my opinion, a bad guy or a bad actor that used something that's so emotionally triggering and polarizing, and I mean, just it's all the feels, because who doesn't want to protect children? Okay, who doesn't want to? So if I'm not for you, I'm against you, shit, it don't fly here. That's all I'm saying. That's where I stand. So no, we are not pedophiles. No, we do not like human trafficking. No, we do not like people using human trafficking as a freaking meal ticket either. Okay? That's where I'm at. So, if I've been accused of that, I haven't seen it yet. So, I don't know if anybody here has, just for, saying anything against a douchebag. Sorry, I said it. Oh gosh, I probably shouldn't have. But, okay, this is something I printed out 800 years ago. Human trafficking, right? In Louisiana. Okay, 2221. It says human trafficking is a form of modern day slavery, U.S. Attorney David C. Joseph said. January was National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Louisiana Department of Transportation announced Tuesday that interstates 10 and 20 are two of the worst corridors for human trafficking. Local community leaders have been hard at work to ensure preventative measures that are being taken to combat human trafficking in the area. Joseph launched the Human Trafficking Task Force of Northwest Louisiana in November. The task force was created in collaboration with the Bossier Parish. We have parishes here. Sheriff's Department. What the hell? My camera's being stupid. Labor and sex trafficking are two of the most common forms of human trafficking. Labor trafficking, right, is when someone forced is to work involuntarily. That don't seem like it's worded right, but it's gonna piss me off. Let me do this. Let me do this for a minute. Whoa, I don't have my thing on. Hello. Where's Morgan Freeman when you need him, right? He's like the only guy that, has a good God voice. And him and David Earl Jones. Come on. Let me wipe the lens. Goodness, man. If it's not one thing, it's a damn another. You know? If it's not your damn gallbladder falling out, not really. It did hurt. I'm about to back out and come back. I'm going to back out and come back. No, it's still shitty. Oh, well. It just is what it is. Yeah, that's only 2 interstates, right? So I have those little moments, those, you know, D to D moments. You know, I don't want to say blonde moments because if anybody's blonde, I don't want anybody. It's just how I grew up. You know, we always said blonde moment, right? But Jason, you know, I learn things all the time, and I really do like learning. I really do. But something I forget now, but like he said that, shit, like if it's an even number, it runs east and west. If it's an odd number, like highways and, you know, I didn't know this. It's just one of them things, you know. If it runs, if it's an odd number, then it goes north and south. And I was like, I didn't know that. As I've said 15 times already. But yeah. So the interstates and the highways and stuff. The more you know, right? Temporary due to what do y'all think's going on at General Conference though? That's nuts. We see this often in terms of immigrants who may not be here legally that are then forced into work conditions against their will, kept under the threat of being deported. Excuse me. The most well-known form of trafficking is sex trafficking. Excuse me, okay? It's like I get in here and I start talking in all the air. That and damn gallbladders. Huh? I'm getting old. Straight up. That's what it is. First off, it says Pastor Michelangelo Watkins. First thing that got me was pastor. Okay. It's like, I don't know. I have a hard time with ecclesiastical people. Of St. Matthew's, number one missionary Baptist, said that contrary to popular belief, traffickers aren't always strangers. Right? He helped to coordinate a conference bringing awareness to human trafficking this past December. This was a long time ago. They will sit in the seat of being a boyfriend, and the next thing you know, they start to pull that young lady away from her family, Pastor Watkins said. In a small city like Monroe, people may feel like they have nothing to be worried about, right? When we moved to Houston, and I mean, I live in Lake Charles, right? It's not far from Houston. But when we moved there, me and Mom, we pulled up at a convenience store or whatever, and, you know, I just leave my car running, right? Yeah, no. She was like, and I was like, why? And she was like, you know, just awareness, right? Being self-aware. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. You know? So, oh, it's good to see you too, Lily here. Yeah, I think so, Janelle. I think it is the after. I mean, I still have my gallbladder, okay? And so there's that. It was worse. It was worse than labor. I'm not playing. And it just came out of nowhere. I mean, I was just like, for 5 hours, 6 hours straight. And I was like, oh my God, I just could not get comfortable. And I don't like to look things up. And I don't like to research health things. Like, I don't ever read the pamphlets, you know, that come with all the medicines, because God knows it's going to have everything listed on there. I don't try to future trip myself. So, but I did. I looked up the things, and I was like, okay. All right. Gallbladder. Okay, I can deal with this. And then I was like, oh, heart attack. Oh shit, that might be what it is. Oh man, it was scary. And so I can't say any more than I haven't been to the doctor, because now I have. But here's my sign, right? and it stopped hurting really once. Well, they busted like 3 veins. Okay, so I have those bruises. That's nice. But and that's the first time, really. I mean, I've had babies and C-sections, and anyways. But it's like once I got back into the emergency room, it's like everything just started to subside, and I was just like, okay, oh, it's not. She was like, well, what's your pain level? I was like, now, like a 4. Earlier, I was like, my lips were puckered, and it reminded me of labor. So it was probably a 10. That's why I'm here, But I mean, it hurt, and I was sore for a couple of days it would go from the front to the back, front to the back, front to the back. I know I drove Jason crazy. It's my job. Anyways, thank y'all for listening to me. Thirsty, man. I should need to drink some water. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Whoa. I just saw this. It says, here are some signs of human trafficking you should look out for. Isolation. Does the person appear disconnected from family, friends, community organizations, or houses of worship? Intimidation. Is the person fearful, timid, or submissive? Undernourished. Does the person show signs of having been denied food, water, sleep, or medical care? Does the person have bruises in various stages of healing? Has the person had a sudden or dramatic change in behavior? Avoids eye contact. Is the person disoriented or confused or showing signs of mental or physical abuse? Has a child stopped attending school? Is the person often in the company of someone to whom he or she defers, or someone who seems to be in control of the situation? Example, where they go or who they talk to. Does the person appear to be coached on what to say? Is the person living in unsuitable conditions? Does the person lack personal possessions and appear not to have a stable living situation? Does the person have freedom of movement? Can the person move freely? I can't. Okay. Damn, staples. I don't know. I don't know what the top one says. Is a juvenile engaged in commercial acts? To report suspected human trafficking to federal law enforcement, do not call Tim. Just kidding. To 1-866-347-2423. That's 866-347-2423. To get help from a national human trafficking hotline, it's 888-373-7888, or text help or info to Be Free 233-733. Okay, that's the first time I really read it since 2021, so I can throw that away. I really do. I'm old school. I mean, I like tangible, physical things I can touch and put my hands on and say, yeah, I have that. I don't know if it's the 404 PTSD I have, from the sites being scrubbed like they're being right now. How many of y'all were like, oh my God, like you got to watch it play out with the whole Tim Ballard thing, with sites disappearing? You're just like, oh yeah, okay. Because you know to expect it, right? But coming into this, I didn't know that would happen. And I was just like, oh, I didn't know what a link was. I didn't know what all the things were. I didn't know if you pushed a hashtag that it would bring you to the keywords. Just saying. I mean, I got a copyright strike. It was it was either KTVB. I don't remember. And it was like 2020. I didn't know what I was doing. Straight up. I emailed him. I was like, look, I'm family. It's just a news story from Hawaii. Maybe that's got something to do with it. I just thought about that. But it was a Hawaiian native or Hawaiian mom or something that saw Chad Daybell after Lori was arrested, and he like dropped some stuff off at Goodwill over there, and it was like 2 minutes, still I was wrong, like now but then I was just like D. I didn't know what I was doing. So, you pay. So I need to go through all my stuff and make sure, you got to add to it. Yeah. And so, but I did email the contact or whatever. And I was like, look, I'm family. This is what just what I explained to you, And I was just asked if they would take the strike down. That way it wouldn't count against my channel. And then I would remove it, Or this could also be a shut up. I mean, you can look at it different ways. Like, okay, quit talking about the LDS, I don't know. It just could be one way of, I mean, people do retaliate. Hello. Hello. Oh, it's crazy. Anyways, I'm just rambling. I missed y'all. That's what it really is. Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't mean to hide me all the way behind it, but let me make that larger. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh. Okay. So, whoa. I don't want it to do that. I knew it was going to do that. Sorry. It's my first time. I can share my remote control, Donna. No. But anyways, this is, I just kind of went and dug these up earlier today. Just so you could kind of see. But just April 2023, Tim Ballard was presenting for Book of Mormon evidence, which is where he ran in the same circles as Chad and Lori. So, I mean, I've always had an eye on him from jump, just something, how you just trust your gut instinct, your intuition. There's just something about him I can't peg that I just don't feel comfortable about. And I mean, here we are. I don't wish anything bad on him. If anything, the worst of the worst is that he too is deceived, even by the very elect, that's how I'm using it. And it just seems to be the trend. So anyways, I just think about the fact that it's a learned behavior, all the way, the like-mindedness of it, most everybody has responded in the same exact way, to not exactly, but you know what I mean, by avoiding, not admitting. It makes me think of Melanie Gibb and all the ones that looked away, all the people that looked away. Look at Jodi Hildebrandt. They, people saw and didn't say anything. Just like the floodlit on Mormon discussions right now. A lot of people look away because it's uncomfortable or they don't want to be the squeaky wheel, And I mean, I understand that it's easy for me to armchair quarterback. I think it's easy for anybody to, but I didn't know then what I know now. So I'm trying to apply that. Are these people, is Melanie Gibb trying to apply this in her life now? Is David Warwick, is Tim Ballard, Jason Mao, all these people, Zalema, these mothers. And you're just like, what? Okay. Especially the ones that don't get talked about anymore, which is Serena Sharp and Christina Atwood. You notice their names didn't come up at all in the trial of Lori? It's like, shut up. Anyways, April 2023 presentation. This was Tim's bio in that, okay. Lincoln and the Covenant. Timothy Ballard, founder and CEO of Operation Underground Railroad, OUR. Visit Tim Ballard's booth Friday and Saturday to purchase his books and other items. I'm just kidding. Tim Ballard spent over a decade working as a special agent for the Department of Homeland Security, where he was assigned to the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force and deployed as an undercover operative for the U.S. Child Sex Tourism Jump Team. Isn't that just a name right there? You're just like, that's a very specific name. Title. It reminds me of Ruby with her, what is it? Her mental health, mental fitness coach, or, oh my gosh. Excuse me. It's because I'm talking too much. It's like, okay. I'm sorry. He has worked every type of case imaginable in the fight to dismantle child trafficking rings. Ballard has worked undercover in the United States and in multiple foreign countries to infiltrate, is how he says it, child trafficking organizations. In this effort, he has successfully dismantled, I'm sure by himself, dozens of these organizations and rescued countless children from slavery. He is an expert at managing internet investigations, particularly those dealing with file share networks, where PDF files and traffickers go to trade in child P-word, right? Being censored really sucks also. He has trained hundreds of law enforcement officers and has testified before the United States Congress on best practices to liberate children from slavery. Ballard has been featured on many national news outlets, not for what he wants to, no, not now, to discuss his efforts to combat child trafficking. He has appeared on Fox and Friends, Fox News Sunday with Chris Wallace, The Meredith Vieira Show, CBS Nightly News, ABC Nightline, and CNN Headline News. MSNBC, The Glenn Beck Program. Why wouldn't he? That's one of his BFFs and one of his financial backers, the Nazarene Fund, that he's still on the board, right? These people, the people that we research are really busy people. That's all I got to say. And y'all know, they've all just been like, it's like they all just, I don't know. You know, those little jack and those things always freaked me out because I'm like, or when it's like you at a birthday party and a kid's like sitting on a balloon and you're just waiting on it to pop. And then it goes pop. It's like what did I say? In a video I did that I haven't released, but I was like, it's like a busted can of biscuits. It's what it's like. Mormons going wild. Good Mormons going wild, and it's holy hell. It's never too late. As well as many local news shows. Ballard is the best-selling author of The Covenant, One Nation Under God, and is the author of the sequel to that work, The Covenant, Lincoln, and the War. Tim Ballard spent over a decade working as a special agent for the Department of Homeland Security, where he was assigned to the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Let me fix my... Okay, thank you, Donna. Here I am. Okay. Where am I at? Okay. Ballard has worked undercover in the United States and in multiple foreign countries to infiltrate child trafficking organizations. In this effort, he has successfully dismantled dozens of these organizations and rescued countless children from sex slavery. He has taught American and international politics courses at Imperial Valley College, San Diego State University, and American Heritage School. He has been featured regularly on both local and national TV and radio programs to discuss American history and politics and the role America has played in defending liberty at home and abroad. He has often commented on how his academic work in American history has provided him the inspiration and motivation to rescue children to carry on the American tradition of liberating the captive. He recently received the Distinguished George Washington Honor Medal from the Freedoms Foundation at Valley Forge. After serving a church mission to Chile, Ballard graduated. I'm not saying that. Yeah. Oh no, the way I'd say it, I'm a coon ass. So there, with a BA in Spanish and political science from Brigham Young University. I'm sorry. Not today, Satan. Oh, here we go again. No way. Come on, y'all. Oh my God. He went to graduate from this school right here with an MA in international politics from the Monterey Institute of International Studies. He resides in California with his wife and children. Oh, hell. Okay, so, oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Guess I can't push the button. I can't go there. Can I? Let's see. I can do this. No? Oh my God, you'll hear the sirens? Yeah. Okay, more. So I looked this up, right? And come on, there we go. Right. Let me share this tab instead. So it brought me here. And so what I did this on my phone. I don't know if it'll bring me here because they 404 everything. And so it brought me to here, and I was like, oh, okay, well, they haven't scrubbed this yet. They will. The Lord's Hand, which is President M. Russell Ballard, DCU Center, and it's October 2019. This past summer, I visited Plymouth Plantation, about 80 miles from here, with my son, Craig, son-in-law, Brad, and family friend, Tim Ballard. Now, one of these is his daddy. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. And so, yeah, it brought me to this, the Lord's Hand, and it's like this 7-page PDF. Nephi saw the Lord. It's, I say code. It's, of course, it talks in code, and I say code because I didn't grow up Mormon. It is code to me. And I mean, really, if you do pay attention to it, if you really do read this kind of stuff, you can really catch on to what they're saying. It's not all Jesus. Trust me. Know that. Or you don't have to trust me. Read for yourself. Read enough things, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I see. I see the common thread here. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm grateful for this opportunity to join you in this historic gathering with community leaders, friends of the church, and those who are watching. Okay, that right there. That's no, I'm gonna sound crazy. I thank Elders Christopherson and Bennett for their words of counsel and encouragement. As you may remember, New England played a key role in the history of this country. The native people, English settlers, founding fathers and mothers, and children of God from around the world who found a home here have all, in their own ways, written themselves into the story of this nation. As I prepared to address you, I thought how looking for the Lord's hand in the early history of the United States might help us recognize his hand in our own lives, no matter when or what country we call home. And then here we go. About 2,600 years ago, the Book of Mormon prophet Nephi, okay, put a pin in that, recorded a remarkable vision in which he saw the Savior's birth, ministry, death, and resurrection. As the vision continued, Nephi also saw Christ's disciples establishing the Lord's church in the old world. Okay. Eventually, the church faded into the night with the loss of priesthood authority, although many people kept the flame of faith burning bright by copying and preserving the Holy Scriptures. Nephi saw the Lord reach out again by restoring his church, this time among a people in the new world. Okay, that's right there. This is going to be the church of the firstborn, and it's going to be Zion in America. Okay, and preparing for the restoration of Christ's gospel and his church, Nephi saw the hand of the Lord working among the Gentiles. Now, the hand of the Lord, that's a whole nother thing, because they talk about the nail marks in the hands, because it's something about I'm not Mormon, I've never been Mormon. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but I have to just kind of assume. I just have to picture it. And I've listened to enough Mike Stroud. I've read enough DNC, Doctrine and Covenant. I've read enough Mormon stuff, content that they talk about the mark in the hand, the nail mark in the hands. And so it all means something, right? And like, it all goes, to me, what I connect is the, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, right? That's the three monkeys, right? And, one has the hands over the ears, one has the hands over the eyes, the other one has the hands over the mouth. And something I've noticed is the Come Follow Me series or whatever in the Mormon Church, and I don't really know it verbatim. I'm sure somebody can school me on it. That way I'll have it right. But hear him, see him. And I don't know about the speak. I don't know what the mouth would be called. It's crazy. Right. But it's like, it kind of goes with that. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. And then hear him, see him, follow him. I don't know. That's just my crazy brain. Okay. So, where was I? Okay. Nephi saw the hand of the Lord working among the Gentiles. He saw how they discovered a new world, a world already known by native people who called it home. Right. Correct. In the wake of European discovery, Nephi saw the Gentiles settle the Americas and establish a form of government that provided liberty and freedom for many of the Anglo-American inhabitants. Eventually, through a civil war, struggle, and determination, the freedom and liberty they planted continued to bless many others. We won't go too far into this. This past summer, I visited Plymouth Plantation. I don't know if it's supposed to be spelled that way or not. About 80 miles from here, with my son Craig Ballard, okay, son-in-law Brad, and family friend Tim Ballard. So you can probably say that Craig is Tim's dad. Yeah. Anyways, a wonderful thing happened the first day we were here. As we walked down, I don't know how to say that, Lidle Street, and glanced across the road, we saw a familiar sight. Two handsome young men in white shirts and ties. We love our missionaries, and I welcome any chance to work with them one-on-one. So we motioned for them to join us. About halfway across the street, one of them stopped and looked at me, and it suddenly dawned on him that an apostle had called them over. After we got them calmed down, we invited them to spend that day and the next exploring the wonders of Plymouth with us. And they spelled it right here. As you may know, this, quote, living history museum, isn't this where Tim was? Oh, no, that was Boston, huh? When he was like, that did not happen. Anyways. In the Plymouth colony established by the English separatists. men and women who had separated themselves from the Church of England. You will also find a replica of the home site of the native people who lived along the coast before European settlement and who are the descendants of those, including the family of Lehi and Sarah. Sariah. I don't know. Who also made a long journey to settle the New World. So would that be Adam and Eve? I don't know. This was, and see, I remember there's a couple different people that said that Sean Little Bear had the Book of Lehi. So, and Sariah and Samuel and something else. I don't know. So I don't know. I just kind of know these things. My brain operates like that. Who also made a long journey? Okay. This was my first visit to Plymouth, and I was thrilled to walk in the footsteps of the pilgrims and native people who lived there. They were brave, courageous, creative, and ordinary in their own ways as they attempted to create a life for themselves. Because of my own DNA connection to the British Isles, I was particularly interested in the English men, women, and children who made, y'all, this is where Mayflower. Okay. I ain't got enough time to explain. But the names and stuff that were used for Chad, Lori, and Phoebe, what was Audrey? She was oh hell, I can't remember. It starts with a J. But anyways, all those names, okay? And so all the past lives and stuff, I've done research on this. And like Chad said that Lori was Mary Smith, which was Joseph Smith's great grandmother or something, or grandmother. And anyways, you just go and you read all these different past lives or whatever you want to say. But anyways, I can only really say this to people who would just be like, okay, I want to know that. But okay, so during that historic voyage, the crew and passengers of the Mayflower encountered many turbulent storms. Oh, Lord, why? In the middle of one storm, oh gosh, young John fell overboard. By all accounts, that should have been the end of John Howland. However, the Lord had other plans for him. William Bradford, also a passenger on the Mayflower, reported, oh gosh. In these storms, the winds were so fierce that and the sea so high. I'm glad I read this. And the seas so high, the pilgrims were forced to remain below deck. Uh-oh. And one of them, John Howland, came above, and with the roll of the ship, he was thrown into the sea. But it pleased God that he caught hold of a rope that was trailing in the water and held on, though he was several fathoms underwater, till he was hauled up by the same rope to the brim of the water, and then with a boat hook, oh my God, and other means, got him into the ship again. I'm trying to comprehend it as I go too. So, and his life was saved. And though he was something ill with it, yet he lived many years after and became a profitable member both in church and commonwealth. When the Mayflower finally arrived in the New World, they discovered they were more than 250 miles north, okay, all right, of their intended location. Because of the lateness of the season and lack of supplies, they decided to stay there. Okay, I guess we're going to read it a little bit more. When they explored their new home, they found land already cleared, corn supplies, and an abandoned village whose inhabitants had died in the disease epidemic of 1616 to 1618. Later, a leader of one of the villages arrived in the struggling settlement to help the pilgrims. They formed an alliance, and during the second fall, after their arrival in the New World, 52 colonists and some 90 natives celebrated Plymouth's first successful harvest. Here we go. Here, oh my God. Okay, the first Thanksgiving. There it is. Okay. All right, so it's just things are coming together for something that was said around the time that JJ was murdered. So, if you don't mind, just I'm gonna highlight this. I'm gonna highlight the whole damn thing. At the time, John Helen was not as famous as fellow passengers. At the time, John Helen was not as famous as fellow passengers William Bradford, John Carver, and Miles Standish. However, standing where we now stand, with nearly 400 years between us and these courageous pilgrims, he may have had a greater impact on the history of the United States than any of them. Uh-oh. I just saw a daughter, Elizabeth. Elizabeth? Oh, hell. Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I'm so glad I read this. Y'all are going to think I'm crazy, and that's okay. I'll take it. Because it ain't every day you find this. Now I can't help it. Okay, this is basically a ritual. I'm just going to say it. So you can poke hole, whatever. Okay. About 4 years after they arrived in the New World, John married fellow Mayflower passenger Elizabeth Tilley, a brave and committed daughter of God. There you go. They eventually had 10 children and nearly 90 grandchildren. I wonder if they claim them. Just kidding. But that is not where the story ends. Today, an estimated 2 million Americans trace their roots to John and Elizabeth. Their descendants include 3 U.S. presidents, Franklin D. Roosevelt, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush. I wonder if there's Stanley in here. American poets Ralph Waldo Emerson. I love his poetry, but maybe I need to look into that. And Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. And 2 influential 19th century American religious leaders, the prophet Joseph and his brother Hiram. Okay, think about it for a moment. Oh, I am. The existence of these political leaders, poets, and prophets hinged on this one young man finding and grabbing a rope in the ocean and holding on tight. It was a miracle. I see the hand of the Lord. Okay. I stood in reverence at his headstone next to William Bradford's at the burial hill in Plymouth. The headstone has a picture of the Mayflower and reads, Here ended the pilgrimage of John Howland, who died February 23rd, 1673, aged above 80 years. He married Elizabeth, daughter of John Tilley, who came with him in the Mayflower December 1620. From them are descended a numerous posterity. He was a godly man and an ancient professor in the ways of Christ. Why it's spelled with 2 E's twice, I don't know. He was one of the first comers into this land and was the last man that was left of those that came over in the ship called the Mayflower that lived in Plymouth. Brothers and sisters, please look for the Lord's hand in your lives and in the lives of your family, as I do in the lives of my ancestors and family. Okay, sorry, I had a drink. Expect it. Do not dismiss it. Do not relegate the experiences in your lives to coincidences. As you see the hand of the Lord in your lives, thank Him for it. Please record and share your stories. The more you recognize the Lord's hand in your life, the more you will see it in your lives today. Oh my God, didn't they go back to... Okay, I won't make y'all do this. But I'm coming straight back here. I'm just going to do this so you can... If anybody is one to read it. You can also Google what I just did. Hold on. It's just one more page. Sorry. Okay. All right. And I guess I can copy it. Copy, and if anybody's interested. If anybody, I just
Send it to me, Crasher.
Oh, I just put it in the chat like that. That's the link right here. I just put it in chat. I mean, I can send it to you in a little while. I'm not very fast at emailing on here. Oh, wow. Yeah, I learned. Okay, yeah. Okay. Let me continue because got bogged down there. All right, let me get back over there. Let me leave this site. Okay, so I mean, yeah, so I was like, okay, so it's right here. All I did was, anyways, let me copy this one too. Let me copy and put it in the chat also. I'm a deep researcher, y'all. That's just what I do. I'm very thorough. I'm a thorougist. Okay, so, okay, let me get back to where I was. Okay. Okay, so the Lincoln Hypothesis by Timothy Ballard. Abraham Lincoln became the 16th U.S. president during a very dark time in American history. Author Timothy Ballard explores the crucial role that President Lincoln played to bring this nation closer to heaven. Readers will see Lincoln as a man inspired of God who invoked a covenant relationship between America and its maker, not unlike the national covenants invoked by righteous leaders in the Book of Mormon. In addition, the Lincoln Hypothesis reveals documented evidence that Abraham Lincoln did, in fact, check out the Book of Mormon as he struggled with making some of the most critical decisions of his presidency. Did he read it? Did it influence him? Was the Book of Mormon a key factor in Lincoln's success and the healing of a nation? Now remember, this is Tim Ballard writing, okay? And it says bio for the Book of Mormon, Firm Foundation, Firm Expo, as a speaker, right? Okay. The author states, quote, as you read, you will, like a prosecutor reviewing a case or like a jury determining a verdict, identify valuable pieces of evidence that can be fully substantiated. You will also identify pieces of evidence that cannot. I ask you to consider all the evidence and weight it accordingly. Through this study, many questions regarding the interplay between the restored gospel and the Civil War will be answered. New questions may emerge that will not be so easily answered. Either way, in the end, you will find yourself on a most exhilarating investigative journey. That ain't a lie. DVD, Abraham Lincoln became the 16th president of the United States during a very dark time in American history. In this fascinating DVD, author Tim Ballard explores the crucial role that President Lincoln played to bring this nation closer to heaven. You will see that Lincoln is a man. Did I already say that? In addition, the Lincoln Hypothesis. These are like his little DVDs. This is a little product description. In addition, oh wait, did he? Okay, I had that twice. The Washington Hypothesis by Timothy Ballard. We know that George Washington was a moral man and an inspiring leader, but did he possibly know more than we suppose? Was he a national covenant maker like Moses? Here we go with Abraham. The Abraham test, right? Lehi or Captain Moroni? Did he understand that he was fighting for the liberty of a promised land protected by God, a place where the Lord's holy temples could be built? I thought we weren't supposed to build any more temples, by the way. I'm not a scholar by far. I just remember hearing that. The Washington Hypothesis explores the intriguing evidence that Washington and the other founding fathers knew the Lord had a greater purpose for America. It takes us on a fascinating historical journey through the miracles of the Revolutionary War to the foundational documents of this great nation, to the symbolism evident in every corner of the nation's capital, exploring how Washington's beliefs framed his every action. Author Timothy Ballard draws compelling conclusions about the divinity of that great leader's calling. And we see the evidence of the Lord's hand in Washington's life. We may discover a much grander design at work in the founding of our nation, and thus greater desires to strive to preserve those promised blessings. Ballard is the best-selling author of The Covenant, One Nation Under God, and is the author of the sequel to that work, The Covenant Lincoln. Oh my gosh. It's repeating. He has taught. Okay, yeah, I already said that. Here, if you want to purchase it at Deseret Book, right here, right? Not anymore. Allegedly, I don't know. I didn't look myself. I'm just taking everybody's word for it. So, okay, there's that, and then here's Marisol. Oh, okay. So this is Marisol Nichols, everybody, and oh, that was just some things. I didn't plan this out. I never do. Okay. Oh my gosh, I get on a roll. Okay. So Marisol Nichols is an American actress known for her roles as Nadia, I don't know how to say it, Yasser, on the Fox series 24, and I don't know how to say that either, something Lodge on the CW drama series Riverdale. Okay. This is just a screenshot from Marisol Nichols' podcast trailer, The Mission. This is her. I put money, power, sex, money, power, sex, money, power, sex. Right? There's old Sean Reyes. Y'all, I do believe there's a connection. Y'all aren't going to like it. But I do think that I really don't know how to explain it just yet. So maybe I shouldn't. But Jodi Hildebrandt, she's got some connections for sure. One of those being oh God, I ran into some research the other night and I halted. I was like, yeah, I'm good. It's scary. Then I got the copyright strike. I'm just saying. I mean, I didn't, anyways. Yeah, people don't want people to talk. I don't know. I'm just careful. 3 people in my family were murdered. I don't too much trust outsiders. Temples belong to the masses, not a business corporation. Oh, you ordered the tote. Mine's right there. Really excited to support Christian and KJ in the race. Thank you. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. Donna works hard. We all work hard. We all do. I've got some big things. I think you will like them. I don't know what y'all want to talk about first. We can talk about what I have crack-a-lackin', or we can just finish talking about Marisol and them first. I'm just not a structured being, okay? I just like to riff. But that's just me. But so the connection with Jodi is a Utah Attorney General. Don't know how far that will get her. You're very distracted. I don't know if that's good or bad. I am a distraction. That's the story of my life right there. I just like to dig. I like to research. It's what I really do enjoy it. I like to get a good read. And I used to say that I hated books and I hated reading. I hate reading in a structured manner. I like to just open something and just go where it leads me, right? That's me. Hey, Natalie. Good to see you. How's everybody doing? Tell everybody I said hi. I need to go visit. My best friend's dad also died, so I think that's where we're going to go in a little while. He's like my dad. I mean, anyways. Crazy. We're getting old. All right, back on track. All right, so these are just, some screenshots of them. Okay. Oh, okay. I forgot what I was doing this for. All right. All right, we'll scooch ahead. I think I just did some things. Maybe I should have thought about this, right? I was going to make a short intro, but I didn't have time, along with rearranging. I just think I have all this time. I have no concept of time. Marisol is an ally of Tim Ballard, right? Oh, poor little girl. I was trying to go for the dramatic effect and see. Yeah, the donate nonprofit, right? And here's the couple's ruse, in their own words. And so this is what happened to me the other night. All right. So, I'm always like trying because I really
idea.
Oh, crap. Hello, Russell. This is Tim Ballard's, not his grandfather. This is not Tim Ballard's grandfather. Hence the strong sarcasm here. But yeah, now let's go ahead and play it.
That the church is hiding something that which we would have to say as two apostles who have covered the world and know the history of the church and know the integrity of the first presidency and the Quorum of the 12 from the beginning of time. There has been no attempt on the part in any way of the church leaders trying to hide anything from anybody.
Yeah, thanks to Mormonism Live. It sounds like if they say it, then it must be true, right? That I remember hearing that with Chadnum's doctrine. I think the document that Ian came out with, if you believe it, then it's real, and I'm like, what the hell? Okay. Oh, and so, yeah, she's a Scientologist. I didn't know this, right? I was like, okay, I just assumed she was a Mormon. She is not. She is Scientologist. So it's interesting. I get the same vibes off of her that I do off Tim, and because I'm just birds of a feather flock together. And you can just kind of, I'll show you, because I do actually have some video that they actually took down the next day. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, right? Marisol was born on November 2nd, 1973. She was born in the city of Chicago in the state of Illinois, right, in the United States, okay? At the current period, she is 49 years old, and she spent her childhood days in Naperville, Illinois. Her horoscope is Scorpio, and trust me, she wears it around her neck. She's best known for her role as Nadia whatever. A tough CTU agent on the 6th season of 24. I've never watched any of these shows, right? In 2008, she married director Taryn Lexton at the Church of Scientology Celebrity Center in Los Angeles, California. Now, they're not married anymore, but Marisol Nichols is an American TV, okay, as well as a film actress. Okay. American TV and film actress. Since the year 1996, and Marisol Nichols has been very active in the acting industry. Okay. Besides, she is prominently famous for her on-screen projects such as Scream 2, The Princess and the Marine, and Vegas Vacation. Vegas Vacation. I was like, oh, hell, I love that movie. Oh, come on. To start with, I just kind of pulled a bunch of things together. Marisol has been involved in her career as an actress since the age of 17. Several TV series in which she was featured are Due South, My Guys, and Beverly Hills 90210. These were all released in 96. Similarly, she made her film debut in various films such as Scream 2, Vegas Vacation, and so on. For about 53, that's my favorite number. For about 53 episodes, she appeared in the TV series named Resurrection Boulevard in 2002. Later on, she played a role in the crime thriller TV series 24. Her role as Nadia Yasser in the series was praised as well as criticized. It comes with a turf. Okay, Marisol Nichols is a social media, is active on most social media platforms as well, as she is a well-known celebrity in the Hollywood acting industry. The famous American actress has over 627,000 followers on Facebook. Astonishingly, she has 3.5 million followers on her Instagram account, with exactly 1,684 posts on her Instagram account. Her username on it is at Marisol Nichols. Consequently, she has named her Twitter account the same thing. She has 323 followers on it as well. Okay, I already said this earlier. Marisol completed her early schooling from the Naperville Northern High School. She has attended college at the College of DuPage, I don't know. There aren't any details available if she took any formal training to polish her acting skills or not. Okay, so that's her and her husband and her daughter. And so her podcast, it says this in the background, The Hollywood Vigilante. And this is a post from Marie Claire I don't have a date. It says, far from the Riverdale set, actress Marisol Nichols performs the role of her lifetime, one that requires a certain kind of courage and crazy, hunting child predators. Okay. I just think that people don't catch things. It says that she files for a divorce from her estranged husband. I thought this was appropriate. I was like, because I looked up Ruse. This is what I got. It was slim pickings. There you go. Gaslight. Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Couples Rouge. I'm sorry, I'm not well. And okay, yeah. Told you I was trying to make an intro video. Oh, this one's appropriate, right? Okay, we'll spare the details. All right, enough of that. Oh, hell, get me out of here. Close. Okay. All right, let me go to this real quick. All right. And I'm trying to figure this out too, y'all. So just be patient with me like y'all always are. I'm not very... Look at that. That's awesome. Yeah. Not proud. Why do I keep landing on that one? And so I mess up a lot. And so... But I mean, this is the only way I got it. Okay. So it's just... I'm like, okay, but I got it. This might be the bad... Oh, see, I had 3 different wardrobe changes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Lots of smoke and mirrors, my friends.
Okay.
The hell did it go?
Oh, today's my brother's birthday, by the way.
There it is.
Thank you, Sue.
So this is what I got whenever I went to go look for Marissa Nichols, which is Tim Ballard's
Marisol.
partner. Yes, he has a new partner, which is an old partner. So her name is she's an actress. Her name is Marissa Nichols, and she's actually
It's not. It's Marisol Nichols.
a Scientologist. Did you know that? And guess what? She started her own human trafficking She started her own anti-human trafficking nonprofit organization.
And Tim is on.
Tim Ballard sits on the board.
Me and this girl get along. Oh,
I thought that was interesting. So the video I did, right?
Then we are going to dive straight into Tim Ballard.
it's very confusing because there's me.
Okay.
There's
I
3 of
ran
us.
across a channel last night that he participated in a podcast. He appears to be doing some damage control. You tell me what you think.
He was doing some
I hurt
damage
myself
control.
more than anything.
Okay. So see, this is unedited, of course,
He
but
spent more. Okay, said all that.
all right. Let me get to this part. Well, I did a whole lot of there. There it is.
Man.
So gross.
God, there was
Brandon and Melanie
with the feet.
Until the bankrupt.
and didn't.
That's not me now. That's me the other day.
And I'm not sure.
It would have been much easier to read it like this. I should have came here and read it. Yeah, I will link that in the description box underneath this. Yes, you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm going to say.
One more time.
Now, watch the apologist at work. Saving face. Yes, you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I can't believe
This is the bad
gonna say what I'm
recording
gonna say.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about how it is that
Let me
Tim
try and
and
find it.
I go undercover, why it works, the ruses and what we do. And we're sort of dedicating this episode to the female operators. out
Yeah, while
there.
he's touching her
So,
body and doing freaky
I mean,
deaky
why
shit.
don't we start?
Well,
How did this happen?
I'll start
Yeah.
by saying this. Like, for some reason, people think of these operators going undercover. They always picture dudes.
I know.
And I'm not sure why that is, because the majority that we work with are actually females. Because we can't do the females are the ones that lead, that find, and there's many, many reasons for that. Okay, on the most base level, and this is shocking to people, but when you watch Sound of Freedom, you recognize who was the #1 recruiter
It was
in the
a
Sound
movie.
of Freedom
God.
movie, which is a real person, Copy Juanes, okay? A woman.
It was a movie. It was a freaking movie. Okay.
Right.
Why is that? Now, if you're running
It
a
was a
trafficking
movie.
organization, you better be sure you're going to have a woman recruiter, because kids trust women way more than they trust men.
About as much as I trust that cross being on your neck. Ooh, look at my eyes.
And especially someone like Copy Juanes, who's with
Catejuanes.
Cartagena. She's recruiting children to work or to be models and to be famous way more than they trust men.
Yeah.
And especially someone like Copy Juanes, who's Miss Cartagena. She's recruiting children to work or to be models and to be famous like her. I mean, that's how kids, everybody who has been around kids know they're much quicker to run to a woman than to a man because of that motherly, beautiful instinct. And so it's a betrayal beyond like anything you can imagine in all humanity, right? That women would
No,
betray.
it's the thing that gets me the most. And you know that. It's the thing that gets me the most is when the trafficker is female.
Yeah.
It's
Shut
so
up.
hard for
He's
me to
so
comprehend
stupid.
that level of betrayal.
It's just so betrayal.
huge. Okay, so how did you
You're going
start
drum up business though.
working with female
Yeah.
operators?
So I knew that what I noticed was, okay, if I'm talking to the female recruiter, she's like, not going to talk to me. If a female's there, she's like, you've betrayed everything about yourself too? Let's talk. So that's one thing. But the other problem I had was, look, there's several access points to
We're going to talk about these.
rescue children. And what I'm going to say isn't going to hurt future operations, I promise, because you can't hurt operations that are happening every day, all day, every country. Okay, it doesn't matter. Even
Oh, I
if you
think I
say
found
it.
it.
In fact,
I did.
if they hear us saying this and decide to shut down their little portals,
Right.
wonderful. We just won.
Right.
He just said
It's
portals.
spas.
He did just say portal. I just found the more edited one. So, and I got to talk every now and then, more than I do on the other recording. I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't know they would take it down either. So there's that. And I just wonder why they took it down. Why that her whole podcast, her whole Marisol Nichols. Let me pull it up real quick. And that way I can show you what YouTube. Okay. So right here is for her nonprofit is for Slavery Free World. Okay, Marisol Nichols podcast trailer, The Mission. Okay. And it says when was this? A year ago. Warning, the following content may be disturbing for some viewers. The Mission. This is August 13th, 2022. From far from a Hollywood set, Riverdale actress Marisol Nichols performs the role of her lifetime, one that requires courage and a certain kind of crazy. I'll agree. Hunting traffickers and predators. Watch the Marisol Nichols podcast here on YouTube or listen wherever you get your podcast. The fight to end human trafficking must continue. And so she has all her plugins here, yeah, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, website, podcast, you know, they got them all. And it's Marisol Nichols for a Slavery-Free World right here. Okay.
Law enforcement understand that just because they're good cops doesn't mean they're good actors. And you need a good actor to get into the belly of the beast. And so when we met Marisol Nichols and her foundation, the Foundation for a Slave-Free World, we recognized that we had a secret weapon. Our percentage of success rate went from like 40% to like mid 90%.
Can we just say they went from like 0% to 5 or 5 to 0? I mean, I just want to see the numbers. That's it. Not the numbers. I want to see the proof. I want to see the receipts. That's all. Transparency. It's not hard.
The prosecution rates
for the money they're making
are like through the roof.
Okay, so this is my face after infiltrating a trafficking ring,
Tim Ballard.
a massage parlor, trafficking little kids, and a whorehouse. Yeah.
Get on the ground! Police department, get on the ground now!
Marisol Nichols. Marisol Nichols. Please welcome the fabulous Marisol Cat Nichols.
Marisol, I think you shocked the world when you shared your story that while you've been starring on Riverdale, you have been working to stop sex trafficking and to catch these horrible people in this world.
About this issue, I got more and more involved and went deeper down the rabbit hole and made lots of relationships and learned way more than I ever wanted to know. I felt it was sort of just my duty to not only tell others so that they can help, but to align myself with groups that I feel are really effectively making a change out there to stop this.
I remember this one op that we did. I was pretending to be a kid.
So you want me to come see you or what?
Yeah. As an actress, to me, it's like, okay, I just have to think about this as a role. And think about this, okay, if I'm a trafficker, what are the things that I'm going to say? If I'm a little girl who has been indoctrinated into this life since she was a kid, what's that mindset going to be like? And so, honestly, that's the only way I could get through it.
It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Oh, hell. Okay, I'm not quick enough. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? I can't find it. Oh my gosh, she has a... I'm looking for a damn lighter this whole time, too. So. I can't find one. Anyways, so that's that. And where was I with the other one? It was here, maybe? Okay, let me try this.
I'm gonna say allegedly. And I'm gonna say
I am pretty funny.
maybe movement for obligated in a podcast. He appears to be doing some damage control. You tell me what you think. This podcast, the channel name is Marisol Nichols for a Slavery-Free World. Okay. Anyways, I mean, they have done things together before. You'll hear about it. Let's go.
I've been working in the anti-trafficking movement for over a decade. I've been honored to work alongside law enforcement as an undercover operative, both in the U.S. and abroad, to help put bad guys in jail and help rescue some women and children.
Sit down.
I created my foundation for a slavery-free world and this podcast to help prevent you or your loved ones from ever falling prey to these predators.
We'll be checking into you, girl. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
and
you.
welcome to the Marisol Nichols.
Just that part right there cracks me up. I don't know. I'm a nerd. I'm like, thank you.
Podcast.
Anyways,
To another episode
hear
of
that.
Marisol Nichols podcast, and welcome back, Tim Ballard.
oh,
Life
let me know what you think, but I think maybe Tim's, and so this was September 17th, this podcast right here. So this was before yesterday's news was dropped by Vice News about the S harassment and allegations.
No, this is
about
days
the
ago.
S abuse or whatever was released yesterday on Mormon Stories podcast with John DeLynn. And he had two of the Vice News reporters. They came and visited. They've done that before because the news was released in a statement by the church, M. Russell Ballard behalf. This is very confusing because both their last names are Ballard. You got Grandpa Ballard. Basically, he's been denying that they are related. Related. Okay, come on. I don't get it. What does this do? It besides confuse people, and that is what this is all about. Welcome to the master deception, because it is throughout this entire all these cases. Jodi Hildebrandt, Ruby Franke, Timmy Ballard there. Not my grandpa, M. Russell Ballard. Then you have President Nelson, and you got the internet being scrubbed. The church websites are being scrubbed. There was a talk that not my grandpa, M. Ballard, M. Russell Ballard. It's like I got to come up with a better name for him. Elder. I'll say Elder Ballard. Okay. Elder Ballard, which is his not grandpa. It's not his grandpa. It's not his grandpa. Anyways, he is distancing himself. There's something coming. I'm telling you, it's brewing. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be bad. So the church is double stroke. They're like, they can't get out of there fast enough. Okay. They cannot distance themselves fast enough. So this is what the church does. They do anything to save their face. Always about the image, because anything beneath that ain't so pretty, if you know what I'm saying. And it's like that with every one of these like-minded people, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I studied these people the last 4 years. It's a very like-minded behavior cult, movement, group, church, organization. I don't know, brotherhood. It's all kinds of things. It's definitely, in my opinion, lacking Christ. Something's going on in those temples, though, right? Okay, so Tim's doing this with her, and it just seems to me that Tim seems to be very sluggish in this. And so let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm dying to know. I want to know if maybe Tim Ballard's wife is fixing him some smoothies like Lori used to fix my uncle, right? Because there's all these allegations. Maybe she's a little jelly. She might be jelly. He might be, maybe he hadn't got any sleep because Hims is tired because he's sleeping with one eye open. And somehow being around Tim, analyzing Tim like this, I don't feel like as much of a spaz. He's a bit more. So this is Marisol Nichols for a Slavery-Free World podcast, right? And so just in the title, it says female operatives. I'm telling you, it's damage control. I have not watched this whole thing. Female operatives on covert missions, featuring Timmy Ballard's season 2, episode number 5. Anyways, so it looks like, okay, right here it says Marisol Nichols podcast. And so just in her intro right there, she said that she started her own nonprofit. So we will be checking into that. That's why I was researching into doing a nonprofit organization to honor my uncle Charles, Tylee, and JJ. If I can, Tammy and Joe. I don't know the legalities of it. That's what backed me away from the nonprofit organizations were these folks. I was like, yeah, no, I'm good, because they start them like that. I'm just like, I don't even know what to do. And so it just really freaks me out, because I know that what's going on with what
I agree
they're
with
doing,
that, Liza.
it's not by ye fruits ye shall know. And so these fruits are hell no. Anyways, Tim Ballard, founder of Operation Underground Railroad, who stepped down now, is back as he and Marisol dive deep into the perilous world of S trafficking, shedding light on the pivotal role played by women operatives in undercover missions. What she really means is playing his hooker so they can be more believable. It's stupid. It's the most stupid logic I've ever heard. Moreover, Marisol and Tim share firsthand accounts from their thrilling, real-life operations. Why would you say that? It's like when the church says it's true. I don't get it. Anything that says the one true church, I'm like, that shit ain't true. It's not true. Don't trust. Go the other way. Anyways,
God, right,
hi,
Katie?
I'm so nice.
It
I'm gonna
would.
treat you so good. Yeah, you're not.
Oh
you are
my
not.
God.
Okay, so from their real life, okay? Spotlighting the resilience and bravery of women rescuers. Learn about the immense challenges these brave women face
That's
and the
true.
risk they take to infiltrate trafficking rings and bring
You'll
perpetrators to
get that
justice.
in here.
Not about the victims. Just saying. Okay, so about Tim
About the
Ballard.
victim.
Tim Ballard has gone undercover in the US and abroad to successfully infiltrate dozens of child trafficking organizations while rescuing countless women and children from human traffickers. I'm gonna say allegedly, and I'm gonna say P-files there because I don't want to try. He's gonna say it 50,000 times, I'm sure. Prior to founding Operation Underground Railroad, he spent more than a decade working as special agent for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, ICE. This makes me think of Melanie Boudreaux when she was on the phone with the detective in Gilbert who was investigating the shooting at Brandon Boudreaux, and she said something about my uncle Charles, her uncle at the time. Not anymore. Not even then. But anyway, that my uncle was part of ISIS. Do y'all remember that? So I don't know if Ditzy there, Melanie Pawlowski, got it mixed up. And anyways, because I've always said that it's been alleged, I've heard through the grapevine. I just don't have any way of I don't have any way of like vetting that out. I don't have any way to, find out the truth on that. I just stick to my little speculations bubble over here. So just know that everything is pretty much, it's speculation. It's all allegations, allegedly. One can assume, and so nobody's accusing anybody of anything because they play the victim complex. All right, you're gonna see it. You already have. So, Department of Homeland Security assigned to the Internet Crimes Against Children, the ICAC task force, deployed as an undercover operative for the U.S. Child Tourism Jump Team. It sounds like Ruby Franke's what is it? A mental what is it? A mental fitness coach, whatever her mental gymnastics is. I'm going to start looking up terms and like little exercises we can do before we start into these deep religious rabbit holes, right? Because they are freaking taxing. So maybe we can do some little warm-ups and maybe we can cool down too. We'll see. There's got to be some fun stuff we can but when before diving into all this freaking, it is messy. That's all I'm saying. All right. So he spent said all that. Operative for the U.S. Child Tourism Jump Team. So specific. Tim is an expert at managing #dark web investigations where P-files and occurs. You know what I mean? Like in your car traffic, it has so many controversial things. I got to talk about trade. Okay, so what trade he's in. Anyways, child abuse materials, CSAM. I'm gonna start saying CSAM. He had trained hundreds of law enforcement professionals and has testified. He has testified before the U.S. Congress on best practices to liberate children from slavery, allegedly. The 2023 American action film Sound of Freedom now sounds like the sound of rejection. Okay, I couldn't help it because it does sound like the rejection. It sounds like rejection. Look at him over there in his skinny, tight jeans. He is rejected. Okay. He's like, can I have a victim's advocate, please? Party in one. There's something else. The 2023 American action film Sound of Freedom, starring Jim Caviezel, was inspired by the work of Ballard. Okay. So I want to go ahead and start out and say thank you to Lynn Packer, who has worked tirelessly to investigate and get this case to really where it is now. It is the fruits of his labors that we are seeing the fruits of Tim's labors, which are scarce. Okay. Something's on the horizon. The church is distancing itself, even to where, Tim is like, Grandpa, and he's like, I'm not your grandpa. Okay. All right. That's weird. Okay. So the church they were endorsing Tim. They endorsed him and we all saw it. So anyways, let's play this.
Has been extremely exciting for you since the phenomenal success of Sound of Freedom. I know you have no idea this was ever going to happen.
Oh my gosh. I thought it was just going to bomb before it even released because nobody wanted it. Right. Literally passed through the hands of Disney, Fox, Netflix, everybody. And they're like, nah, pass.
So was he in the business of saving some kids, or was he trying to get a deal? Sounds like it. A movie deal.
Pass. I'm like, oh, we're screwed. And then
Why? You're not screwed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not screwed. Not if you're not going into it for the money business to make a movie about trafficking. You're going into it to save the children because that's what God told you to, allegedly. But you really are telling on yourself right now. I just called it.
I don't know, a few months ago, the Angel Studios like, we like it. And
Bullshit, because they have been trying to get that movie out since 2019.
90 days later, it just
Let's go
happened.
back.
Life has been extremely exciting for you since the phenomenal success of Sound of Freedom. I know you have no
That's
idea
true,
this was
Paul.
ever going to happen.
Oh my gosh. I thought it was just going to bomb before it even like released because nobody wanted it.
Right.
Literally passed through the hands of Disney, Fox, Netflix, everybody.
Okay.
Right.
And they're like, nah, pass. I'm like, oh, we're screwed. And then, I don't know, like a few months ago, the Angel Studios like, we like it.
There's a trailer or movie, and Lynn Packer has it on his channel. Again, go subscribe to him, support his work, AmericanCrimeJournal.com. And also they have a Patreon. Support his work. This man, he is one of a kind. I love him, and I appreciate the hard work that he has put into this. If all Mormons were like Mr. Lynn Packer,
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one
I think
thinking
this
about
world
it.
would be a much better place. So I do appreciate his work and contribution and all his blood, sweat, and tears. Thank you for pegging this dude, because I never cared for him. Whenever I had that dream, right,
There
of
we
my
go.
Uncle Charles
That's why I
telling
never
me
get anything done.
that their deaths would uncover something far more dark and far more sinister. That was like in 2000, and that was probably right into 2020. We hadn't found the kids yet, so that was before I didn't know that they were dead. But anyways, I think of that all the time. And so whenever I learned of the investigation into Operation Underground Railroad in 2020, I was like, this is something far more dark. This is something far more sinister, right? And yeah, so I mean, I've been watching this, talking about it, and on my channel, Difficult Research, and everything's coming together. All these people, it's like they can't tuck their crazy in, and so they're just coming out the woodworks. And I always said, what about the rest of them? Because 2 by 2, the church is pumping them out 2 by 2. Here they are, Ruby and Jodi, Tim and Sean Reyes. He's Mormon too. He is the Attorney General in Utah, Sean Reyes, and they are best buds. Okay. And so there's just some really, and also know that Glenn Beck, the Nazarene Fund, backed Tim Ballard to start his Operation Underground Railroad. Let me shut up.
And 90 days later, it just happened. It's like this.
Oh, what I was going to say was the
I can't
church
shut up.
has been, they were working on a movie, Something Jesus, and then it just kind of disappeared. Just kind of put a tab in that.
#1 movie.
And then-
It's domestically, it beat Mission Impossible.
He does not
and
look
Indiana
good.
Jones domestically.
Right.
But it released internationally yesterday,
What?
and it's the #1 movie in every Latin American country.
Okay, did you see that?
It released internationally yesterday,
What?
and it's the #1 movie in every Latin American country. We're seeing what the numbers are, but we're at 180 plus million just domestic. And
When did Mormons start wearing crosses? Please. Mormons don't wear crosses. They don't like crosses.
it beat Mission Impossible and
Wearing a
Indiana
cross.
Jones domestically.
Right.
But it released internationally yesterday,
What?
and it's the #1 movie in every Latin American country. We're seeing what the numbers are, but we're at 180 plus million just domestic, and it's crazy.
It's incredible.
It is
You're
crazy.
spaz, dude.
I mean, even like weeks before the premiere, I'd be going down. I don't care. It could be in Bogota, Colombia, Quito, Ecuador, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Chile. Everywhere I go, and this is not me like ringing a bell or man. I'm just telling you the truth. It's like people are like, "Oh my gosh, we know you."
Yeah, they're like, you got excommunicated. You're not grandpa. Don't like you no more.
And this is not me like ringing a bell or man. I'm just telling you the truth. It's like people are like, "Oh my
I think
gosh,
she's
we
in on
know
it.
you."
This is that guy who has the low man syndrome or something. That's the vibe I get. And y'all, I mean, I have pictures, screenshots of him and Jason Mao in their token grip, their patriarchal grip. You know, their grip. Get a grip. And they're like, okay. And so, yeah. And that's at the Fern Foundation in 2019, which was endorsed by the church-owned businesses
for that.
like Deseret
I like
News,
my own.
and the other one was LDS Living. So it's Deseret News, which is church-owned. Okay, sponsors of the conference, and I'm talking about the Firm Foundation, the Firm Expo, and the Book of Mormon conference in 2019. President Nelson was amongst those pictures that came from that particular conference. So I find this very interesting. Deseret News, LDS Living, 105.9 KNRS, and K Talk.
Thing besides like how successful and phenomenal it is,
So
it's just
phenomenal.
it also proves that like look, people actually bring their families to go watch and watch and watch, and it literally is the epitome of a grassroots movement. I mean, we couldn't ask
No,
for
it's not, because y'all didn't do shit.
anything better
No,
ever.
I didn't know there was that many people because my
Yeah,
assumption.
you
based-
did, because you said you did, because of all the P-files you would have to look at. You couldn't save those kids. Remember?
From what I was saying for 20 years is
Yeah,
people don't want to talk about
I
it.
know.
We're all
And
talking
that's
about it.
why I told the producers,
stupid.
"Are you sure you want to invest in this film? Because when I scream, no one listens.
Right.
Are you going to scream differently?" Well, yes, they said, and they did, and they gave it. And
Now, watch The Apologist at work. Oh, wait, did I have saving face? Yes, you.
yes, oh my gosh, I can't believe
Okay. Oh,
I'm going to say what I'm going to say.
this is the couple's
So we're
room.
going to talk about how it is that Tim and I go undercover, why it works, the ruses and what we do, and we're sort of
And this is the funny part, not the funny part. This is the part that really bothers me. They're childish, juvenile, Chad Daybell type ways of explaining something that's natural and normal for people to do is to have relations with one another. Okay? We are sexual beings. So the way they explain it, it's like it's their first time out in middle school, and it's weird. And so the over explanation of, oh my God, we thought of this, like it's like they invented something, and it's so stupid. So here we go.
dedicating this episode to the female operators. out
Yeah, while
there.
he's touching her
So,
body and doing freaky
I mean,
deaky
why don't
shit. How
we
did it do
start?
Well,
How did this happen?
I'll start
Yeah.
by saying this, like, for some reason, people think of these operators going undercover. They always picture a dude. And I'm not sure why that is, because the majority that we work with are actually females. Because we can't do the females are the ones that lead, that find, and there's many, many reasons for that. Okay, on the most base level, and this is shocking to people, but
So I mean, what are the people who are just really traffickers and stuff? Like, what do they do? Do they do this too? I mean, it's so dumb. My God.
but when you watch
These are white privileged folks, is what this is.
Sound of Freedom, you recognize who was the #1 recruiter
It was
in the
a
Sound of
movie.
Freedom
God.
movie, which is a real person, Copy Juanes, okay? A woman.
It was a movie. It was a freaking movie. Okay.
Right.
Why is that? Now, if you're running
It
a
was a
trafficking
movie.
organization, you better be sure you're going to have a woman recruiter, because kids trust women way more than they trust men.
Yeah.
About as much as I trust that cross being on your neck. Ooh, look at them eyes.
And especially someone like Copy Juanes, who's
Cata Juanes.
Cartagena. She's
Cartagena.
recruiting children to work or to be models and to be famous.
Yeah, I was having trouble with my
That's
Wi-Fi.
Kids, everybody who has been around kids know they're much quicker to run to a woman than to a man because of that motherly, beautiful instinct. And so it's a betrayal beyond like anything you can imagine in all humanity, right? That women would
No,
betray.
it's the thing that gets me the most, and you know that it's the thing that gets me the most
Your
is when the
necklace?
trafficker is female.
Yeah.
It's
Shut
so
up.
hard for me
He's
to
so
comprehend
stupid.
that level of betrayal.
It's just so
huge.
betrayal.
Okay, so how did you
You're going to
start
drum up business though.
working with female
Yeah.
operators?
So I knew that what I noticed was, like, if I'm talking to the female recruiter,
Yeah.
she's like not going to talk to me.
Mm.
If a female's there, she's like,
This is juvenile.
"You've betrayed everything about yourself too. Let's talk." So that's one thing. But the other problem I had was, look, there's several access points to children. And what I'm going to say isn't going to hurt future operations, I promise, because
Yeah.
you can't hurt operations that are happening
That's
every
weird
day,
to
all
do
day,
things.
every country. Okay, it doesn't matter even if you say it. In fact, if they hear us saying this and decide to shut down their little portals,
Oh yeah.
wonderful. We just won.
Right.
He just said
It's
portals.
spas, it's strip clubs, it's high-end escorts, it's wherever there's a sex. Now, in the past, if
It's
I were
so
to show up
bullshit.
by myself or send people dudes by themselves, well, what's going to happen? They have to gain credibility
Mm-mm-mm.
with the trafficker, with a pedophile.
It's like, hey, I'm here to purchase what you're already selling, right? So I feel dumb for even trying to.
And if they walk in there and the person tries to grab them and give them a sex act and they don't take it, bye. You're a cop, or you're not who you say you are.
But you got
and
money.
We're certainly not going to get to the level we're going to tell you about where the kids are. This is proactive work.
No, it's not.
Infiltration, which is why so many developing countries don't have a program, because it costs more money. It's like you got to deal with the bank robberies, the homicides. So we go in there and say, no. We are going to know. Center of Freedom making people know it is there. Get off your butts. And
That is one good thing.
Now, here's the thing. You know me, married, 9 children. The time
He just did
I'm
the
not
word
going to have
up.
sex acts.
Right.
He just did it
Anyone.
again.
Right.
I'm not going to do it. At the same time, I trust myself to be able to infiltrate and ask the right questions, because I know so much about the market.
So just so people are understanding, so what's happening is places where they have children for sale are very dark and very disgusting, and you have to send people in there, right,
Yes.
to infiltrate. And the first people that they bring out are the adults, right?
Yes.
So if the adults are there and you're in, like, let's say a sex resort or a spa or any of the places that you mentioned, I just want my audience to understand what we're saying here, then why wouldn't the operator engage in sex with the adult if they're there to buy sex? It makes no sense.
That don't make sense.
So that's where you're saying the female comes in.
Right.
So let's talk about that.
Right, because if I want to infiltrate, which I know I can do,
it's infiltrate.
But I'm unwilling to engage in any sexual activity with any sex worker, adult, or trafficker, here comes the idea. And I remember where I was, by the way. I was laying in bed in my uncle's house in St. Clemente, and I was like, how do we do this? And then it hit me. Oh,
I wonder if that's Ballard's other son.
This is acting.
Or his dad.
This is not, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. Just because you're a cop or a former cop does not inherently make you a great undercover operator. Undercover operations, first and foremost, are actors. Second, can you learn the skill set to keep yourself safe? Can you maintain your composure? But if you can't act,
right,
you're dead from the beginning.
Exactly.
And you put yourself in risk, your partner's at risk, and the children at risk. And I thought to myself, Marisol could do this with me. And we had a lead in Dominican Republic.
Yep.
And the lead it was like a private VIP exclusive sex club.
Wow.
Okay. And there was also another one. This spa. It's a brand. It's called Bonhavo Spa. We can say it because it's all been.
Oh, good.
They've all been taken down. They're all in jail.
Okay, great.
Oh, yeah.
And so there was these 2 places, and I was like, I'm going in, but I'm not going in alone.
He's so
I want to walk my audience back.
So dramatic.
Just so they're understanding. So when you go in, there's an.
It's to clarify. They're acting right now. Okay.
Undercover name pretending to be someone else, right? And that someone else is traveling with a female. Yeah. So what happens is I got this phone call. I'll never forget it. And you're like, hey,
yes, suits and sandals.
Dominican Republic? I think so. You're like, great. I need to go in and I need. And I think I paused for like half a second, and I'm like, all right, what do I got to do? And the whole we even made jokes about this, and my audience is, if they're listening to this, they're somewhat sophisticated, but we made this joke of like, I'm the cock, literally. And the point is that what Tim was referring to
for each other, by the way, both of us.
Exactly.
Yeah, mutually.
Is if you're traveling with a female and I'm supposed to be your wife, like it was a husband-wife.
So stupid. Why you need it?
We've used it a lot. It works very, very well.
Yeah.
And the
purchase relations with a child. Again, I mean, they don't care as long as you have money. I think they're being extra.
Wife can then get jealous and block the husband from engaging.
Right.
And while we're in there, we're getting all the information that we need.
Like there's times when they'll make a move on me.
I'm sure they're all taking all these wonderful drugs while they're there, because Mormons are very oppressed people, and you can't keep people like that oppressed because it explodes like a freaking can of biscuits later, as we have witnessed happen since Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. It has been a shit show in the Mormon community ever since. I'm sorry. I didn't pay attention to it before because I didn't know anything about it. But it is, I mean, Ruby, Jodi, there's allegations of the
Oh
hot
God.
tub parties and all that with the sisters, the relationships and the comings and going, with what do you call that? Incest. Okay. That's disgusting. So these people, and then it goes to the kids, that. And so I really am of the opinion that Russell and Eve, the ones that were basically dubbing them dark, right? They've been singled out by Jodi and Ruby. And I do believe that they were going to be the next Tylee and JJ. I really do believe this. I really do. Yeah. General conference is this weekend, which is, it was for religious purposes. It says it in the indictment. That was a sacrifice. That was
didn't say.
I do believe
The way that ran together. It didn't say in the indictment it was a sacrifice. It just the way I said it. So just know that
Melanie Pulaski was trying to get her children with Alex right there in the vehicle as she was trying to get to her kids in American Fork, Utah, at her in-laws' house, Brandon's parents' house. She wanted her kids. I believe she wanted to be exalted like her Aunt Lori. I don't know. I wasn't there. But Tylee and JJ were there, and two of Brandon and Melanie Boudreaux's kids were about to be there. I mean, they were dubbing them dark. They were working the percentages and everything. And then here we have Ruby Franke, and we have Jodi Hildebrandt and duct tape, emaciated, running to the neighbors, call 911. We have some abused children. It's so sad, and it's going to happen again. It's purge season, y'all. This is the month that Tylee and JJ were murdered. We do know that, and it's around general conference time. I call it purge season. It is what it is. It's uncomfortable, but it's even more uncomfortable for these little victims. It's so sad.
And we have a key word. You guys say something like, I won't
Forget
say
what
that.
it was, but yeah.
I remember, but I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh baby, this is awesome, something like that. Which is in case you're not paying. And then
He looks messed up.
what are you doing? Get your hands off my husband. Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. And then I'm not talking to the sex worker who's the trafficker. Like,
right. I basically played the crazy wife.
And now they're not going to boot us
You
out
really have to act.
because they knew my intent.
Why didn't you just bring your wife, Timmy? Why you got to go swing with Marisol here?
Was, but for you, and so they're still going to tell us about the kids.
They're doing this to
And then
justify,
the
just like they
happen.
try to do with their scriptures, like Lori was doing with her scriptures, and this fool was doing with the scriptures, acting like Nephi, seeing Jesus, and Jesus told him to do this and that. Y'all, it's either they're having these experiences, and it's like some hologram or some in these temples where all these people are going. Think about all the temple visits with Chad, Lori, and friends.
Good name.
In the temple. Okay. You can't, I don't care how crazy it sounds. It matches the rest of the story.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
They did. There was one, God, there was that one place, Bonhavo, essentially, that we left.
I hear you.
And literally, I think it was within 10 minutes, they texted you a picture of a 12-year-old.
Because we convinced we were there for like.
Why do you have to convince them?
And even
You got money, stupid. You got money, dum dum. You ain't got to convince them that you got a girl. That is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. What do you think? I mean, am I off here or what? Because that sounds so stupid.
no sex happened.
And yeah, Sleuthen said, I'm sorry, Liza, I'm sorry, I got off that screen. Some, if not, 2 of his kids are adopted. Yeah. Yeah. 9 children. I think, if anything, Catherine's on board. And they're just acting. Really
Happened or no sex acts happened. They knew that I had a good reason for why it didn't, and we were so convincing.
That doesn't make sense. No, whatever acts, no S acts happened with whom? They don't give a shit about you and your fake girlfriend here, your fake wife. This is dumb. Like sitting here playing it out is
They
dumb.
texted you a picture of a
I don't
12-year-old
know.
girl.
Yeah, because we convinced them. We were there for like 2 different treatments. And even though no sex happened or no sex acts happened, they knew that I had a good reason for why it didn't.
Right.
And we were so convincing.
They act like they
me
think
trying
this
to
much.
like recruit you to be part of the sex party. Come on, we're gonna.
They're talking about people who sell children. They use like human beings are the currency. And so they act like these people who sell children, people as a currency, as a product, they don't give a rat's ass what this fool is trying to sell to everybody else. Because first off,
they are way too they've shown their faces way too much. Okay. You don't people no. Anybody who's smart would do their research, you know. Oh my God, there's a fire or something here in my town. I just see a little fire thing and I hear a bunch of sirens again. And they just shut off. But it's making me wonder.
If you can just get her turned on, we can do it. Like, I'm like
Yeah,
desperate
you saw that.
to get them to turn you on, but you're like, I'm not ready yet. And they're laughing and I'm laughing.
So
with them.
extra. I feel like this is a true statement about what they were doing. But everything else, like this whole narrative about, you know, this is Tim's way of getting people back to the covenant, convert them, right? He's still a missionary. And so it has nothing to do with the victims of trafficking. He is a problem. He is part of the problem. He divert important funding to go to the proper people who are actually doing good and, you know, who are trying to combat the trafficking problem that we are plagued with. Okay. And so he's going all the way overseas to do this, and it's happening right here under his nose in Utah. But yet, and there's no aftercare. It's all smoke and mirrors. I'm telling you, it looks good. They can set up some websites. They can set up some nonprofit organizations. Lickety split. Okay. But I don't think it goes past that. Everything else is just fake, just like his movie. It reminds me of Jason Mao dressed up in his full attire, you know, where they're going like,
Eliza, you'll like this.
what do you call that? Where you go LARPing, you know, and there's grown men just like in a field and they're like LARPing and with fake swords and shit. That's what this is. They paint themselves to be this hero. They are in fantasy land, and Mormonism does this to them. Perhaps maybe they're not mentally well. I
had to frame it as a question.
I don't know. It's just scary and it's sad. I hate seeing this.
They're convincing.
Yeah.
That's all it has to be, is convincing.
Yeah. I think
To themselves. That's all that matters, is their self-perception.
the biggest thing for me that I learned in doing this was how, for lack of a better word, disgusting you have to be.
That's a good word.
Like, just as an actor, right? If I'm taking on a character, and you know, I've been doing this with you for a while now, I have to embody the type of person that would travel around with their husband or boyfriend around the world looking to have random sex with strangers, right? And so it was sort of like, what kind of character would do that? And what kind of mindset does that have to do with? What kind of things do you have to say? And I have to say, like, from my first time, I was shocked. I was shocked at like the depravity.
Oh yeah,
the depravity.
That's what I think
which
about.
I shouldn't have been shocked. But when you read about it and you study it versus actually being in it, it's a whole different level.
Crazy.
They're actually
because
doing
there's
it.
this force field over you that allows you to be in
opinion.
a place you never in your real life would be. And so you're seeing things. For example, remember we went to that place, that VIP. There's a VIP resort in Dominican Republic that these guys could not get into because they only service Americans. And it's like a $5,000 like just one-time fee to get in, which they don't have budgets for that. But
Who don't have budgets for that? Okay, so how to get in? Yeah, it's
remember, we walk in there and we have this force field because we're a couple.
they have a force field now.
So we have
They're shielded.
Everyone at us. I'm like,
They got the
just
armor.
give me a chance. She no.
They got the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell armor.
Like we were
He did say portals earlier.
pretending to be a couple that was like on the verge of divorce. Yeah. And this was my last attempt to like strike some.
I mean, the traffickers think so much into this.
Like,
What is this is not relevant in my opinion.
to be a couple that was like on the verge of divorce. Yeah. And this was my last attempt to like strike some. Like,
I'm going to take my wife
passion.
to a sex resort to like rekindle our marriage.
Maybe I'll try anything. I'm desperate. And I talked to the guy and he's like, I've seen others do that. So I'm like, good.
It's
What do I do? It's like, oh, I'll send some hot girls into your room. And then they would come in and you'd be like, no, what? I'm not ready for that. So
What was the point? If they're in the business over there and that's what they're doing, that is their product. They're not going to be like, are you sure? Are you sure? It seems like it's pretty bad over there. I'm just saying it's nonsensical.
So I want to sort of explain sort of what happened and rekindle that, because I remember
Drive it home.
This
It's always
this
about
was
the
first
money,
time.
power.
And you
and sex.
asked me, you're like, okay, so how do I do this. And I was like, oh, I've done this a million times. I've done sex scenes without having sex, and I've done kissing scenes without actually all of those things.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it's a matter of where they are. And we figured out and we choreographed this.
They act like they invented sliced bread. Okay. Good God.
Choreographed this
Right.
to the nth degree. And we had rules. Can I talk about the rules?
Everything.
No.
Yes.
Shut up.
So we had rules.
Yep.
Number one, like just rules that like you and I as people
She was like, you bring the peanut butter. Anyways, okay.
would not cross. Number one, no
Very.
actual kissing.
Right.
Like we you have to understand, like we entered a sex resort.
Did he send you pictures of him in his undies? Asking for a friend. Asking for. This is before I saw the picture.
Spent the night
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
didn't even kiss.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yes.
Why not?
And we pulled it off by we're spilling all the beans here. But we pulled it off like,
not.
you know, you grab my arm and kiss my arm.
Yeah.
Right? Or
I feel like I'm playing Barbies right now. Just kidding.
I'd kiss your shoulder, but we never actually kissed.
Right.
We never touched each other inappropriately.
Never.
Ever.
Never.
But it's amazing as an actor what you can pull off
Right.
and make seem like sexual and all of these things without actually ever having contact.
Yeah.
We did 5 ops in 4 days. Knock on wood, we're having a documentary come out about this.
Yes.
You're having a documentary come out about this. Okay.
And we didn't cross the line once. And
Not
I'll
much
never
longer. We
forget.
got a little bit to go. Because it's, oh my God. You didn't even have to play this game. You didn't even have to go. Why didn't Catherine go with you, Tim? Your wife, you know, it's probably why you're on lockdown and why you look like you've been on Xanax. Check your smoothies, dude.
There are actors that take advantage of, you know, a love scene or a kissing scene, and
You want to cry about it?
they cross the line. And if there was ever a place where you were going to cross the line, it's a sex resort in the middle of freaking Dominican Republic. That's to me what worked was we have a natural repertoire just from doing
fake
undercover work anyway. But to pull off that route,
y'all do it every day.
We work well together, and
y'all do it every day, trying to be good Mormons. Okay.
That chemistry that we have worked.
And I'll say this, we can get into the details, but I just want to say this. Because we were willing to do that,
Oh my
not cross the line,
God.
become near the
Now
line,
they're doing it for the
and do
country.
things like, you know, people like in my faith and
Straight up. They're now, here's the savior complex. Okay.
they're like, well, avoid the appearance of evil. Okay, great
Not in this
principle.
world.
Unless
Embody it.
you're trying to rescue children in Dominican who aren't being, well over 100 children and women are no longer being raped.
Oh.
Simply because we walked into those 2 clubs. Our 200 women and children were
Oh,
not back
no,
in
no,
their
no.
homes in Venezuela, Colombia, wherever.
Women is
in
they are
Dominican,
bad words.
who are, and one of the cases that our work led to, these girls from Colombia were literally being kept in chicken coops,
I know.
padlocked outside. They lived in that heat and the hell until the nighttime, and they were unlocked, showered up, dressed up like little dolls. They preferred the chicken coop. Okay, you can't find those people unless you infill.
Continue.
You have a partner like you and I developed a partnership that makes it
Sorry, it's really not edited well.
possible to be anywhere God needs us to be, and yet we violate no moral issue.
We could
Oh
mock
my
up
goodness.
being disgusting people to convince these disgusting people and not have to actually do.
But they're pretending to be good people, telling good people, us, y'all, the audience, their audience, you know? Oh my God.
Anything disgusting. And it's so funny because after that whole thing, I remember I was like, let me just take a shower, just even mocking up that mindset.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean?
I want to show you something.
It was
Welcome. Okay. All right. Okay, hold on. Woohoo. I think, oh, I'm in the wrong screen. Okay. I'm in this StreamYard. Okay. There we go. Start my camera. Whoa, hey. I know. Different crushes, right? There's like 4. Oh, I see Tylee back there. And up there. Anyways. Yeah, that it was something. And I just want to know. So Donna said that Marisol had it up on another channel. So
it makes me wonder why she took it off of YouTube. Just saying. But it's fair use, and I hashed it. You know, I what do you call it? Criticism. Called all the bullshit. Not all of it. I'd stop every 2 seconds if I did, you know. Oh, an earring? Oh, maybe. Oh man, I don't know. It's just weird. It's very weird. There's this other thing. Let me see where I put it. Okay. So basically, I keep up with the guy who, the investigator that I talked to that keeps up with the Hamblin, Leavitt, those cases, the Church of Satan. Okay, is what he dubs it as. And I mean, he was a Mormon. He believes in Joseph Smith and stuff. I mean, whatever. That doesn't bother me. It's these people that bother me. Okay, and it's like you have to weed through all the stuff to figure it out. And so he sent an email. He writes, you know, and so I read his take on Tim Ballard because I like reading it from a Mormon point of view. I do, because it's like seeing it through their eyes, you know. So confirmed, Tim Ballard excommunicated. I guess I could, you know, let's see, instead of keeping my mug on here. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. Confirmed, Tim Ballard excommunicated. And the sordid, he goes harsh on John Dehlin. So this is somebody else's opinion. I'm just reading it. That's all I'm doing. The sordid story about Operation Underground Railroad founder and current Spear Fund founder Tim Ballard continues to take its turns. Dr. John Dehlin, leader of apostates and founder of the ironically named Mormon Stories, which consist almost entirely of ex-Mormons recounting their experiences, reported that sources who were in a position to know informed him of Tim Ballard's excommunication by a high council on Monday and Ballard's notification on Wednesday at 9:45 p.m. I mean, that's science right there. Let me do this. Okay. This would be unusual, and it would, right? Because excommunications usually are not public unless the church, in my opinion, unless the church needs them to be public, like Chad Daybell's getting leaked to court TV. Because it would mean that people within Ballard's stake would be notifying an excommunicated podcast host, John Dehlin, of the excommunication of Tim Ballard. Dehlin was excommunicated by the North Logan, Utah stake, and Brian King's letter to Dehlin was distributed to the media by Dehlin. Quote, the council concluded, King wrote, that you were in apostasy on the following issues. Your teachings disputing the nature of our Heavenly Father and the divinity of Jesus Christ. Your statements that the Book of Mormon and the Book of Abraham are fraudulent and works of fiction. Your statements and teachings that reject the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as being the true church with power and authority from God, unquote. It is John Dehlin's right to publish. Now, I agree with this. I do. Because I was live watching John do, break the news. And I agree. It is John Dehlin's right to publicize his own excommunication if he so chooses. But Dehlin crossed the line with Ballard's disciplinary proceedings. And he included a post September 28th. Can anyone please use LDS tools to send me the name of the ward and stake where Tim Ballard resides, along with the bishop and stake's president's name? This isn't to dox. It's to give to reporters seeking confirmation of Tim's reported excommunication. In simple terms, John Dehlin solicited current Latter-day Saints to effectively provide him with information on Tim Ballard's current ward and stake in order to provide that info to the media.
DeLynn originally claimed that, quote, multiple credit sources, names most Normans would know, unquote, had told him of Ballard's sex communication. Why those, quote, most multiple credible sources, unquote, would not assent to DeLynn providing their names to media outlets for confirmation remains unclear. By talking to DeLynn, those sources were talking to an excommunicated Latter-day Saint. Do you see the division there? I mean, that bothers me. Because it's like, I'm not a Mormon. And so you see how much the Mormons who were, you see my bruise, who were around Chad and Lori Daybell, you know, they're just like, they don't talk. So that bothers me, you know. You should talk to everybody. We're humans. We all have to share the planet. Okay. Okay. So one might think that they'd have no problem speaking to the Gentile members of the abominations. And that's what we are referred to if we're not a Mormon. Yeah. After all, the church in Salt Lake City had no such problem when it effectively excommunicated Tim Ballard via a press release to Vice News. I concur. What would normally be a private proceeding conducted with the utmost discretion was turned into a public debacle by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. 6 separate sources. You learn things by reading these things, okay? Trust me. Okay. 6 separate sources, including one close to Ballard, claimed that Russell Ballard was not behind the communique to Vice because he was suffering from dementia. Other sources vehemently disputed that claim. 2 sources claimed that Gordon Ballard, alleged LDS Church of Satan Punisher, okay, had written the LDS press release that was sent to Vice News from an official church email account. And then various other sources confirmed that Ballard had tried to hire a public relations firm only to be informed that the firm was conflicted out. Apparently, Senate Republican Mitch McConnell had authorized a $2.5 million outlay to finance the kneecapping and disembowelment of Tim Ballard. Outgoing Senator Mitt Romney, who decided against running for re-election, even though he had won in 2018 with 71% of the vote, was avowedly against Ballard running for his old seat. I didn't know that. And I mean, it's hearsay, right? Others allege that now I've seen this. I've seen Senator Mike Lee. I've seen plenty of articles over a while. Where he's telling Glenn Beck to run for president. So just put a pin in that. Okay. Some bait and hook is going on. That's what I'm saying. It's smoke and mirrors. It's a distraction to distract us all from what's really going on. As far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, I really think that Tim Ballard is aware of the plan and he's just going along with it. He's just part of it. Okay. So, you know, it's still his grandfather, allegedly. All right. That's just me. Because just the way things panned out. The victims, the alleged victims, anonymous, it don't add up for me. But I mean, I'm not picking a side. Just know that we don't have to be all for or all against. I mean, this is unraveling and this is all about human discovery. Okay. Senator Mike Lee had recruited Ballard to run for the seat, even physically crossing paths with Ballard in an airport to discuss the strategy. The other one is Ballard's hopes for a U.S. Senate seat were effectively crushed on the say-so of 7 or more women who spoke off the record with total anonymity, and who provided no specifics about Ballard's behavior, only speaking of spiritual abuse and grooming. In the days of sexting, and he put dick pics, and Snapchat sex videos, the single photo that made it into the public realm was a picture of Tim Ballard in his underwear laying on a couch with tattoos that clearly were not real. Ballard himself acknowledged the couple's ruse, where operatives
had women playing their wives on operations in order to enable the male operatives to rely on their fake wives to intercede when traffickers tried to ply them with trafficked women for sex. Allegedly, those women were sometimes volunteers and contractors with marriages of their own who had come to OUR seeking to help save children. What is unclear is why an adult married woman with a family would think it's, I don't know how that's framed, but why is unclear is why an adult married woman with a family would think it wise to travel with a man other than her husband, leaving her family behind to go play at being an undercover sex sting operative. It is also unclear why OUR thought it prudent to send such women on sting operations. Then again, OUR's alleged operational history is fraught with a lack of risk management and mitigation, extending to allowing wealthy, untrained donors to hop along on jaunts to rescue trafficked children and women. Excuse me. Those donors were provided with a brief crash course in operations, like Tony Robbins, and there's a couple other actresses and stuff that I just don't remember their names right off the top of my head that went on these staged ride-alongs, basically. Operations. Anyway. And miraculously, they were not hurt and did not injure anyone else in the course of those operations, and so far as we know. The larger issue was the revelation that Apostle M. Russell Ballard, current president of the Quorum of the 12, and the next in line to the first presidency, the top three dudes, had apparently functioned as a silent partner in Tim Ballard's for-profit enterprises like Liberty 89 and Slave Stealers. LDS apostles typically forego outside engagements as full-time employees of the church, but Russell Ballard made multiple appearances. This is getting interesting, okay? Made multiple appearances and trips with Tim Ballard of his own volition, and his son-in-law's address was the listed address on the corporate filings for Slave Stealers. Craig? Okay, Brad. That same son-in-law was allegedly a partner with Slave Stealers, a non-profit enterprise designed to be an umbrella organization over other sex trafficking and victims assistance nonprofits, one that would funnel info and intelligence to slave stealers and in turn enable slave stealers to use, quote, the sizzle of the operation, unquote, to lead people to the covenant or LDS. In other words, Slave Stealers was a proselytizing tool created by M. Russell Ballard, allegedly, and Tim Ballard to use a pass-through corporation to get other nonprofits, this is called money laundering, or racketeering, right? To get other nonprofits in line with grants funded by Ballard's donor base, with the goal of bringing those nonprofits into the orbit of an ecclesiastical organization with a long history of covering up sexual abuse. That organization would conceivably have access to the files and information of those subordinate nonprofits through slave stealers, which would induce financial reliance and even dependency with Ballard's unmatched ability to raise funds through his OUR network. There was only one problem. OUR had apparently used the services of one Janet Russin, a psychic with a claimed line to the prophet Nephi, which was discovered when Davis County Attorney Troy Rawlings uncovered a claimed 10,000 pages worth of psychic readings. Scriptural doctrines prohibit consulting with mediums, astrologers, and the like. But OUR apparently did just that, and the consultations were allegedly financed with donor money. There are those who defend the use of donor money for Janet Russin's services, arguing that she is akin to a prophet. I don't see the difference. But Russin, I don't know about the money part, but I don't see the difference. But Russin's so-called intelligence led to failed raids, but there are also failed prophecies as well. If we're just throwing shit in the dark and darts, throwing darts in the dark. Prophets receive their revelations from God and they don't miss. Check this out. Psychics receive their intelligence from the devil. which is why scripture classifies them as false prophets and orders their execution as such in the Old Testament. Okay. Adam Hurwitz on Fox 13 reported today, I think this was yesterday, maybe, that Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes was aware of OUR's use of donor funds to consult with Russin, who in turn claimed to speak to dead Mormon leaders. That is exactly what the rank and file of the LDS Church of Satan and polygamous groups like the James Harmston's True and Living, can they get any longer with these freaking names? True and Living Church of Saints of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Oh, I'm sorry, of the last days. My bad. Out of breath. Purported to do, to pierce the veil with their ordinances to speak to the dead, which is necromancy, prohibited explicitly in Scripture, and the CS did so. The Church of Satan is what he's referring to. Through perversions of LDS ordinances like the True Order of Prayer. In simple terms, OUR was financing an effort directly analogous to the alleged activities of the LDS Church of Satan. Only its purpose was to find missing and trafficked children. In my opinion, it's the same. What Tim is doing is the same thing that the church is doing. And it's creating a problem. You know, like you got to get to heaven through me. You got to pay me. And I'll tell you how to act, how to be. It's enslavement. Okay. It's totally learned. And so Tim is only doing what he learned, what he was taught. Lori was only doing what she was taught. That's why she thinks what she did was in righteousness. You know, it's like up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. It's cuckoo. Okay, a sitting state attorney general with the Temple recommend apparently knew about this activity and did nothing to stop it. That would be Reyes. Sean Reyes and others went along with OUR's consultations with Janet Russin in clear contravention of the LDS's explicit doctrines. That alone would be enough. That would be enough to justify Tim Ballard's excommunication, along with the excommunication of every single OUR employee who went along with such absurdity. However, consulting with the psychic was apparently not a strong enough grounds for excommunication in the eyes of the LDS and its disciplinary councils. Okay, Ballard's sins were listed in the Vice News press release as capitalizing on the name of an apostle and Tim Ballard's relationship with that apostle to raise funds for OUR. Here we go. And this is exactly what I think too. That is absurd for any number of reasons, including but not limited to M. Russell Ballard's voluntary and public involvement with OUR and Tim Ballard's for-profit entities. Tim Ballard didn't have to use M. Russell Ballard's name exactly to raise money because M. Russell Ballard was front and center in many of Tim Ballard's endeavors. M. Russell Ballard's son-in-law was also front and center in those endeavors. Donors saw this, and it is undoubtedly true that M. Russell Ballard interjected himself in Tim Ballard's efforts precisely to enable Ballard to raise vast sums of money for slave sellers and other entities. I'm probably going to get canceled. Allegedly. All this is alleged and it's not my opinion. In fact, Sean Reyes allegedly interceded to put a stop to a grand jury investigating OUR and its finances, specifically the use of donor funds on psychic readings for Janet Russin, who was working as executive director at Children Need Families. That's okay. Described as a, quote, special project, unquote, to OUR. Given these facts, Tim Ballard cannot deny that he consulted with and appointed a self-professed psychic to director-level position at a nonprofit, allegedly affiliated with OUR. However, allegedly, the LDS and its leadership were silent on this matter. Ballard's real offense was sullying the name of M. Russell Ballard, president of the Quorum of the 12, and next in line to the first presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Why was the LDS suddenly so concerned with sanitizing the relationship between M. Russell Ballard and Tim Ballard? The answer may lie in the recent announcement that current President Russell M. Nelson will not be attending General Conference. The official church line is that Nelson fell and injured his lower back 3 weeks ago, making it impossible for him to sit in a chair for long periods of time. Nelson joins Elder Jeffrey Holland, who will also be absent from General Conference. Yeah, DJ, I can hear you. Nelson is 99 years old and clearly at the end of his life. Can't mute it from this side. The church leadership would therefore prefer to have an orderly succession, one where the news of any leadership change would not be overshadowed by a leaders' association with Tim Ballard. So if Russell M. Ballard is like going to be, if somebody's going to be dying soon, and Russell Ballard, grandpa, not my grandpa, you know, he's next in line to thrown up, I guess you could say. They don't want, okay. I mean, you got to think, people are thinking about this politically, but I mean, it's something like this too, you know. Matters of the church. Change would not be overshadowed by a leaders association with Tim Ballard, who has been the target of months-long rumors about sexual impropriety. Those rumors are just that, as of the publication of this article, rumors. No woman has put her name on the record, nor has she offered documentary proof to substantiate her claims of sexual impropriety by Tim Ballard. I'm just saying there's no evidence. I'm not saying there's no victims. I'm just saying, you know, not a single text message, email, video, photograph, or record of any sort beyond a picture taken of Ballard in his underwear while he apparently lay on a couch sleeping has been released to back up the claims of sexual immorality. What is clear is that OUR and Tim Ballard engaged in risky conduct, allegedly, with regard to their operations, imprudent decisions and how they conducted those operations, and that they knew or should have known that it was unwise to send married women and untrained weekend warriors on missions against sex traffickers. It is a clear principle of the LDS and basic common sense that married women should remain with their families instead of striking out to sex trafficking operations in exotic locales while posing as the wife of a man other than their husband. Tim Ballard's, that's opinion, I guess. Tim Ballard's wife, Catherine, remained behind, which is exactly where those other women should have remained. Tim Ballard's, okay. Given the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints' sudden interest in whitewashing M. Russell Ballard's relationship with Tim Ballard and Mitt Romney's recent decision to forego running for re-election, interests converged. Tim Ballard running for U.S. Senate while M. Russell Ballard faces the prospect of a call up to the first presidency, right? Should Russell M. Nelson fall ill and die is bad business for the church, given Russell Ballard's exposure to Ballard's business dealings. Ballard and Ballard, which encompass consulting with a psychic who claims to communicate with long-dead LDS leaders and prophets, and also promoting that psychic to a director position within a nonprofit under OUR's umbrella. If M. Russell Ballard authorized Tim Ballard's consultations with Janet Russin to be fair, there is no current evidence that he did so. The implications would be disastrous. Tim Ballard running for U.S. Senate as a Republican would conceivably give Mike Lee, he speaks on the Book of Mormon conference / Farm Foundation, that circuit, okay. Mike Lee, a second, I don't even know what this stuff means, a second MAGA Republican counterpart in the U.S. Senate, and Ballard's work with sex trafficking and the media's affinity for linking Ballard to QAnon would give Mitch McConnell heartburn. I don't even know who that is. To go with his frozen face. Okay. The interests of the COJ of the church and the Republican establishment likely converged, and Tim Ballard had to go to pave the way for an establishment Republican candidate to replace Mitt Romney while sanitizing M. Russell Ballard for a possible elevation to the first presidency. Okay, y'all remember Gordon Bowen, Lynn Packer? A while back we did this. We actually went over this before anybody else did. I'm just saying. It was like days, a couple days, a day or two, and I was like, oh, wow. With producing a $20 million church film on Jesus Christ. That's that one I was telling you about that went away, that Lynn Packer has harped on. That was described as, quote, disastrous by those who have seen it. Bowen allegedly wrote the statement that was released to Vice News. A statement which excoriated Tim Ballard for his alleged immoral activities, penned by a man who solicited gay male escorts allegedly in cities across the country during his marriage to ex-wife Barbara Timothy, while also allegedly holding membership in a satanic cult operating with the LDS. Despite Bowen's excommunication and exposed life as, he remains on good terms with at least 4 apostles who visit his Salt Lake City residence regularly. That dude freaks me out. Allegedly. He is an advertising executive with Dentsom C. Gary Bowen. I don't know. A firm he co-founded. Bowen has previously worked on campaigns with Mitt Romney and helped Romney come up with the slogan for the Salt Lake Olympics. With converging interests at play, all things align for the LDS and the Republican establishment to decapitate Tim Ballard. His reputation lies in ruins, not because of his involvement with psychics or even, because he allegedly committed sexual immorality, but because he was inconvenient for the church and the Republican establishment's interest at the moment. And I agree with this allegation. A higher profile political campaign could have led to embarrassing implications for the church and its leadership, as well as undesirable outcomes for the Republican Party. And so Tim Ballard was first publicly excoriated and excommunicated by press release, and then formally excommunicated by a disciplinary council. That excommunication has been confirmed by key sources due to Tim Ballard's own discussions with others about his excommunication. Ballard claimed that he was excommunicated for going to strip clubs as part of OUR's operations, and he further alleged that he had cleared such visits with his bishop in advance. And there was that one, with not his grandpa being on the ground, boots on the ground, for one of the operations. If that was true, Ballard could have called that bishop to his council proceeding. This is too much into the weeds, but that proceeding was irregular at best, just like every other event in the chronology of Tim Ballard's fall. The way that Tim Ballard's orchestrated downfall was choreographed exposed clear fissures within the LDS rank and file, resulting in no less a public figure than Glenn Beck quibbling with the LDS leadership over their actions. The entire episode has been sordid, pathetic departure from the normally discreet and professional way in which the church normally handles disciplinary proceedings. We're almost done. Against its members. If Tim Ballard is guilty of illegality, he should have been reported to law enforcement. Say it for everyone in the general conference in the back to hear that. Oh my God. Right? But as of the publication of this article, no evidence exists that the LDS has uncovered evidence of illegality or that it reported such evidence to law enforcement. Amen. In general, in matters of sexual impropriety involving the abuse of children, the historical position of the LDS is that it is not obligated to report that abuse to law enforcement or anyone else. I just heard a loudspeaker. Are we having purge? Oh, shit. Anyways, he was publicly pilloried for the world to see, likely because the LDS leaderships wished to discredit him where M. Russell Ballard was concerned, and because Mitt Romney and Mitch McConnell wanted him out of the Republican primary. The church has succeeded in destroying Tim Ballard in the public eye, and the Republican establishment has likely succeeded in keeping Tim Ballard out of the Republican primary for a U.S. citizen. Ballard's family has been exposed to open ridicule. Well, you know, it's not like, are they blind? You know, anyways. The lesson to rank, nobody takes accountability. That's the first thing. The lesson to rank and file Latter-day Saints is this. This is good. When your church's interests require it, you can be delivered to the secular media and the public as a sacrifice. Immolated for the benefit of the leadership and its favored sons like Mitt Romney. They are not obligated to follow their own normal processes either. They can incinerate your entire reputation for whatever reason, including reasons that may be little more, than a rumor, even if other reasons exist, which would constitute a valid grounds for the church discipline. Why any Latter-day Saint would expect anything different from the corroded leadership of the church, the current church, is beyond comprehension. Given the church's documented willingness to punish the families of sexual abuse victims and victims themselves for pushing back against the church's advice to forgive pedophiles and serial The end result may have been appropriate simply on the grounds of consulting a psychic, but the process employed to arrive that result was unscriptural, deeply unfair, and deeply wrong. There is zero evidence that the LDS is looking at M. Russell Ballard's own actions, correct, in terms of discipline, which would be appropriate given the long-standing principle that apostles as full-time employees of the church should not hold, I'm going to say, not just hold outside business interests, but maybe not some shady ones either. Just saying. The church claims that its disciplinary processes are designed to be restorative. And this is interesting, to lead to repentance and reunion with the church in the form of rebaptism. Even Alex Cox was excommunicated twice. But the way in which Tim Ballard's excommunication was conducted was clearly designed for public humiliation in order to appease the likes of, and I don't agree with this, just to appease, in order to appease the likes of Vice News and others who condemn any effort against sex trafficking. See, here we go with that black and white thinking. Like, no. Our concern as Christ followers is not with how the outside world looks upon our internal processes to deal with those who sin. Instead, it is to provide a path back for those who can be restored, regardless of what the world thinks. Oh my gosh. Those who mock the atonement with sexual immorality. If that immorality is criminal, they should have excommunicated and reported to law enforcement. However, the church has fought any requirement to report sexual abuse for decades, while deciding that reporting Tim Ballard to Vice News was the appropriate course of action. The absurdity is obvious, as is the complete lack of a moral, or scriptural basis for the way in which Tim Ballard's excommunication was handled. This was deeply and totally wrong. This is the last paragraph. Oh, wait, actually, no, that's just a repeat because I copied and pasted it. We're done. Whew. Okay, that was long. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're done. We are done. So that's enough gossip for the night, right? I'll go hill. Oh, thank you, DJ. I don't know about the content, but it's hard. I told you can't polish a turd. It does not. It does not. So y'all know I'm not political. I don't know all the terms. I'm having to learn them now. I don't understand. This is way up here. I'm sitting on an ottoman, y'all, that's jacked up. Those bed raisers? Those little, you put the feet of your bed for. I'm so comfortable now. Anyways, it's wide and I'm not sliding, but anyways, I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, there is no separation of church and state. I mean, that's something that I mean, I used to see people write that in comments, well, there's separation of church and state coming, talking about Judge Boyce and Idaho law and I'm like, okay, well, that looks great. Yeah. What you're saying right now, there's supposed to be separation of church and state, does not mean that there is. And then I start thinking about, I'm not political. I don't understand it. I don't care who is what. Just what's wrong is wrong. What's right is right. You know it. And it's like, it seems like this process of learning, all this weird shit that I'm not used to. It's, okay, let me stop. It's disheartening, really, because it's all corrupt, and it's like you got to trade one thing for just as bad a thing when you shouldn't have to trade off at all. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I voted one time in my life. My leg was broke, rolled up in my wheelchair, and then come to find out my state didn't even count or something. See, I don't even know what that means, but my state didn't even count. And I was like, well, what the frick did I do that for? So I don't even go. I don't vote. There you go. So that's where I stand. And I know that's people are going to be like, well, you have to vote in order to. I just, it's a non-issue. I understand the importance of it now, but I just don't. I don't trust. I don't know. But yeah. Okay. The other thing is that, let me know what y'all think, but I've been thinking about this for a hot minute. So with Chad's trial coming up in April of 2024, is about to be October 1st, November, December, January, March, April, 6 months. Okay. I got to start raising money. It costs a lot of money. And not only that, but we just need something to do. This will be something that we can do as a community. It will bring us together in that sense, which I love. I really do love hanging out with you guys. But okay, so what we'll do is maybe we'll start out this way. Okay, with Chad's trial coming up, there just doesn't seem to be that interest, right? Like Trace said the other day, that bingo for Chad's trial, right? Okay. I have it written down, but I don't know where I put it. It's basically like we'll go and we'll have like 2 or 3 days per week. Okay. You have your picture ready. Thank you. 2 or 3 days per week. We'll figure it out, where we will start from kind of the beginning of Chad and Lori. And we will start with day one would be the first day of Chad Daybell's preliminary hearing. We will go through it. We're not going to stop and criticize and that. We're just going to watch it together as a community in chat and as things take place. Then the next time we go live, we would do day 2 of the preliminary hearing. Then if everything's good and we like it and it's something that we want to commit to, I think that we can go on and start with day 1, not the jury selection. I don't think, I'd rather not. But day 1 of Lori's trial, all the way 6 weeks of her trial, just like a whole session, like the whole thing. It will allow me to record it and have it in my catalog, so to speak. It will unite us as a community. It will allow us to go over and do this together, knowing what we know now with that lens. It will allow us to, it'll remind us of a lot of things. It will refresh our minds. It'll sharpen us up for part 2. And I just feel like it's a sense of purpose, you know? And again, I mean, it's just, I don't see any negatives. And we can play bingo. You do? Oh, I expect Chad to die before trial, over under odds. Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, don't think that hadn't crossed my mind, you know? Because I'm like, he don't look like he's going to fold. I don't know. It's nuts. It's weird how things turned out, right? Oh, thank you, Bewitched. We all do. We all work hard to expose the truth. It's important. They're worth it, you know? But just victims happening all the time. Ruby Franke's kids. I'm telling you, somebody had asked me too. They were like, I forget who it was. They asked me, I think maybe it was Beach Bum. Do you think maybe Ruby Franke's kids, maybe, you know, with Tylee and JJ being all over the news for years, you know, I wonder if they ever saw the story about Tylee and JJ, you know, and I mean, if she's sitting there saying, if Ruby Franke is sitting there saying that her kid's watching at 3, well, then I say that he maybe saw Tylee and JJ's story at age 12. And the way she treats those 2 younger kids, man, it's freaky. She singles them out. They singled them out. And it's obvious. LDS do not want their name in mud again. A hit would be so easy, right? Yeah, I would. Denicia Rose says, Crusher, would you be open to collab with some of the Law 2 people? Have some of the lawyers go over the legal? Yeah, that's a good idea. I've never been on LawTube. Never. I did go with Jen one time on Natalie Lawyer Chick, and I just talked a lot. Which is, I was like, oh my God, I never shut up. I like Natalie. Okay, my camera's doing weird stuff. You're in? All right. So everybody's good. Knowing these ugly truths is harsh. It is. It really is. But it really brings a lot of answers to me. To me, it does. About why my family was murdered. Oh my God. Because I don't believe Chad and Lori anyways. Never will. Oh my gosh. They won't take that away. Anyways, I don't believe Chad and Lori anyways. I don't believe anything that, you know, I kind of pick up what the things that they're saying that are not directly, you know, in a line of questioning, you know, intentional questioning, you know, it's just, I pick up what they put down outside of that, but there's truth in what they're saying there, but not like, hold on, I'm trying to fix my cam layout, even though I just need to call it a day. Where the hell is it? Oh my goodness. Audio avatars. There we go. Oh, Donna's in there. What? Chad will be shitting himself. You would think, one would think, he's pretty egotistical, is a good word. Chad Daybell, it's probably a good thing he doesn't have to wear his undergarments anymore, because they would be brown. I think so. After Ruby and Jodi and the latest scandal attached to the LDS Church, I think they must be very, very stressed. Corey Richins and several others, and want to try and avoid more mudslinging. But it's interesting how they balance it all. It's got to be stressful, it's got to be freaking, it's stressful to me. I'm like, oh my, the mental gymnastics that are involved in all this is crazy. I uploaded, oh my gosh, I uploaded a video. I have it set to private for right now. Just, kind of like what I did earlier with Tim Ballard and Marisol Nichols. Well, I went to this Latter-day Saint channel with two guys on it that I had never seen before. And so it just kind of came up and I just caught a part, where they were just like, wait a minute. They were trying to figure it out, Tim Ballard and the church and how the church was affiliated with Tim, very much so. I mean, we've all seen, it's gaslighting. That is called gaslighting. And that pisses me off bad. So bad. To sit there and be okay with, selling off some other narrative, like, no, we didn't say that. No, we didn't say you could get your own world and just stupid bullshit, right? It's stupid. And it doesn't make any sense to me. And it's infuriating as well, because it's just not right. You don't do that to people. You don't do things and make them question. Hold on, I'm pulling something up real quick because I have to. Okay, real quick. We'll end on this, okay? I promise. That this is interesting.
And talk about, well, we know that Elder Ballard saying we've never hidden anything from anybody. They know damn good and well that they have.
Let's see. Where's it at? It is, okay, right here.
At any given moment have said, you might not be able to find anything other than Christ is the Savior. That might be the only thing, because they may.
There it is.
Oh, this must be the actual original.
There's two. Okay, there's one, the speech by this guy right here, which I don't know who he is. Now, they put the original one, and then they found one that the church had gaslit, I guess you could say, side by side, and played them, and they see where the church removed some shit. Okay? That's petty. So it's really infuriating to me, because how far they will go to deceive.
Yeah, we're going to put the other one next to it here just a second.
My remarks this morning are directed primarily to those of you who have accepted the gospel and are members of the church, and to those of you who may be seriously contemplating such acceptance and membership.
So far, just the original.
Both the gospel of Jesus Christ and the church of Jesus Christ are true and divine. However, there is a distinction between them which is significant.
Oh, yeah?
And it is very important that this distinction be understood.
Oh, you can hear the popping.
And there is an essential relationship between them that is significant and very important.
Of equal importance is understanding the essential relationship between the gospel and the church.
Wow.
Failure to distinguish between the two and to comprehend their proper relationship may lead to confusion and misplaced priorities, with unrealistic and therefore failed expectations. This in turn may result in diminished benefits and blessings, and in extreme instances, even disaffection.
Wow.
Understanding the proper relationship between the gospel and the church will prevent confusion, misplaced priorities, and failed expectations, and will lead to the realization of gospel goals through happy, fulfilling participation in the church. Such understanding will avoid possible disaffection and will result in great personal blessings.
As I attempt to describe and comment upon some distinguishing characteristics
the essential relationship between
of the gospel and the church, noting at the same time their essential relationships, it is my prayer that a perspective may be developed which will enhance
the.
All right.
I mean, to the level they will go. So that tells me all I need to know. You know, that's serious. I mean, does anybody else get the magnitude, the weight of that? Or is it just me? Because it's I find it so wrong. You know, it's not, they cannot ever say, hey, we're human, we're sorry. You know, you lead by example, whether you believe in Jesus Christ or not. You lead by example because that's how you want to be treated. And that's how I'm going to end on that. But I appreciate y'all being here. I really do. I miss you guys. I love you guys. And you guys are the bee's knees. So we will reconvene. How about that? And we'll start this Chad Daybell. And it'll also allow people who maybe are late to the game, you know, it'll allow them to kind of go through it, you know, with all of us OGs. And so I just think it's a good thing. I think it'll be, it won't hurt, you know, definitely won't hurt. So we'll get that in the works, get that rolling, and we'll have to get DJ in charge of loading up the bingo cards. Oh my God, bingo! All right. Oh, I love you guys too. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. As always, love always wins. You guys are proof of this, okay? Oh yeah, I agree. Yay. Love you guys. I'll see you next time.